Actual Tyrannosaurus, just like me.
Join me and all of my friends tonight as we put on the podcast of your life. I hope you're ready for it, because I know we are.
It's so fucking crazy. Guys, I'm sorry. She does this every week, and it's so good. She's too good at this. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible. We're going to go ahead and start up and introduce everyone. Man, my life is better now. That's incredible. Fuck all this mine. Fuck all this mine. Fuck all this red pill shit. Let's go with the degeneracy. Come on, let's just
dopamine.
Let's just end it all now, man. Let's just go for the. Yes. All right, here we go. She's joining us again. She's one of our fan favorites. She's a professional poker player and entrepreneur. She won a tournament last night, but she still broke as shit, and we love her. This is Allie Summers. Allie, what's going on, girl?
Just grinding away at the tables.
Okay, beautiful. Next to Allie. Next to Allie, he is a junior at Harvard, and he is studying evolutionary psychology. It is Tristan Darshan. Hey, Tristan, what's going on, man?
What up? Welcome
Yes,
back.
nice. And next to Tristan is she's a vocalist, she's a songwriter, she's an artist from Las Vegas, Nevada. It is Vicious Wolf. What's going on, Vicious?
Woo.
Nice. All right. Okay. Next, she's a mother, model, and mental health advocate. It's Lucy. That's right. And then next to us over here on Rollo's right, she's a model. She's a server. She just got hired over at Marquee. Congratulations. You're one of 50,000 girls to finally get hired over there. It is Michelle Martin. Hey, Michelle.
She's back.
And he's the manager of client success at Men of Action, and he's Tristan's future husband. It is Tyler Schoening. Hey, what's going on, Tyler?
Let's go.
Let's go. And, of course, she is the world's most famous sex phone operator. Please welcome back Miss Electra Barbie. Electra, how's it going?
Thank you. It's going great.
Back again.
All right. Nice.
Always
Okay.
ready to be back.
Ready to be back.
Catch her at AVN. Catch her at AVN.
Again.
Geez,
Oh, yes,
next
I'll be
week
there.
is going to be quite the
busy
show.
week.
Yes. So next week is AVN, where we're going to sit there and we're going to go to the Adult Video News Awards while denouncing porn the entire time.
Yes.
Rollo and I are going to have
Yes.
big shirts that say "Follow Jesus."
Yes.
The whole-
Yes.
That's not
Bible
what's going to
study.
happen. Nothing like that is going to happen.
Not
That's
one
not.
person followed.
No, it's going to be...
Somebody hit the other day because they look at our thumbnails and they were talking about us going to AVN. It's like, you guys promote like sexual stuff, and I was like, I don't know what to say. Like I don't really know.
Welcome to Las
Welcome to Las
Vegas.
Vegas. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I
Watch
don't
a
know what to tell you.
different podcast.
Again, I'm more the enjoy the decline guy. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We have a bunch of things to respond to. Do you have the first one here?
Oh,
that I have up?
I'm ready to rock.
Are you ready to rock?
I'm
Okay.
ready to
So
rock.
Lana, if we can. By the way, we also have Lana, who is our engineer today. Lana has her own show, which is better than mine. It's awesome. You guys should check out Laugh with Lana whenever you guys get a chance. Lana, can we get this first clip up on there? There we go. You got it. And then just let me know when to play. Make sure the audio is all the way up. Let's go.
We good to go?
Yep.
All right. I got to back us up. There you go. Perfect.
Do girls really want dad bods?
Yes, we do. We do love dad bod. We love dad bod.
Do you mean by like a dad bods that like muscular? Dad like muscular like
like dad bods that are muscular, but like the type that like drink beer all the time. We love that.
Okay. Now, first off,
Agree or disagree?
agree or disagree. Ladies, raise your hand if you agree. You love the dad bod. Right?
Yikes.
Not a single hand.
Not a single
I'm
hand.
fucking
Now,
screwed.
this is beautiful.
Disagree.
Now, the next thing I want to ask you is, why does this myth persist? Anyone want to raise your hand? Any of you ladies? Why do women consistently? This thing is a huge trend now. It used to
The
term dad bod.
is more comfortable.
It's
for
more
them
comfortable,
for
so
your
that's why
head.
this.
than it is the hard.
So you think it's like a
Body
physical
heat.
comfortability of being
like
fat?
A pillow. Sometimes it's too hard.
Okay.
Like when I lay down on it.
Anybody else?
Body heat, that's the
Body
only
heat?
thing I
Body
don't
heat? I don't know.
know.
Okay,
But,
it could be
no.
it.
Steal your heat.
What do you think?
Daddy issues, or that's the only thing you feel like you're okay.
Okay,
with,
cool.
You're able to get.
Can we play that second video? The second one about dad bod. So we have some science here, and anytime I can play a video of Mac and Murphy agreeing with Rollo Tomassi, I definitely want to do that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna post it up. Shout out to Mac, and if he's out there watching, man, we definitely. Hey, what's going on, Jamie? Come sit down. Come sit down and have fun with the host of the Pink Pill podcast is also here.
Come on in.
Yeah, we're gonna do reaction. We're gonna do reactions to her.
I think we have a couple of videos of you. You might as well show.
Chase, get her a chair. Go ahead. Here, put on these headphones. We're gonna react to this video of Mac and Murphy.
Is it my video?
No, we're doing reactions. All we're doing is reactions.
I saw your reactions last week.
Yes. Well, come react to us. Come react to all of us not as in good shape as you, Jamie.
You're a little hottie.
All right. One of my guests is already flirting with you. Let's go. Lana, can we get this one pulled up? Here we go.
There you go. Ready? Here we go.
A meta-analysis of 96 studies testing 6 dimensions of masculinity found that strength and muscularity was the strongest and most consistent predictor of a man's mating success. Better than a deep voice, better than testosterone, even better than height. Bit surprising, I know, and while numbers can lie, in this case, I don't think numbers are lying. Now, part of this is probably just the likely personality that gets jacked. The men who do the things you need to do to get strong and muscular are probably more ambitious romantically, on average. A large part of this seems to be scaring off rivals. There's some research indicating that formidability in the eyes of men is more important to your romantic success than attractiveness to women. Jack dudes might just not have to compete for the women they want because other men are just too scared to test their temper. But to be clear, some of this association is attractiveness. Men might want to be more muscular than women want them to be, but women typically still prefer men who are more muscular than average. So given that muscles are scientifically sexy, what is up with the dad bod phenomenon? When choosing a mate, women are looking for men who are able to produce robust offspring and protect them, but they're also looking for a man who will nurture and invest in her and her offspring. And some hypothesize that more muscular men are less likely to be good at this nurturing role on average. Perhaps they're more likely to be the aggressive type and or less likely to be the committed type. And indeed, that is women's perception of them. There's been direct research on dad bods, and sure enough, women perceive men who are plumper and less muscular to be better dad candidates. And so even if, in the broadest sense, athletic men are more attractive to women, it's perfectly sensible that some women, especially in some contexts, will find a dad bod, a soft physique, most appealing.
Isn't it great? So like that's what you guys get. For those of you who've been listening to this dad bod propaganda for a while, you are a better choice for being a dad. But the hot guy is better choice for a short-term hookup. So while you're staying at home being the dad, that's what she's choosing instead. She's attracted to the guy who has the better physique. They did another one. I forgot to pull it up.
I have it. I just want to start with this one.
No, but there's another one where they asked these women, do you prefer dad bods? And they all said yes. And it goes, for a short-term hookup, it was like a one-night stand. Which guy would you prefer? They had a guy who was ripped and a guy with a dad bod, and every one of them said the guy who was ripped. So just so you guys are clear, when they're saying this, going back to what Mac and Murphy said, it's like one of these things where as you show like softer characteristics, what happens is as a man, his wife is pregnant, he starts producing prolactin, he starts putting on a bunch of body fat, and you've seen these pictures of like Seth Rogen, you've seen pictures of Elon Musk, and these guys, they get super big, they get fat, and part of the reason why is it's almost like sympathetic nervous system like releasing prolactin because their wife is pregnant. And so women will see that and immediately think that man's going to stay at home and he's not going to leave me. And it makes you feel comfortable, but I don't think it makes you feel attracted. That's just my guess. What do you guys think?
I agree with that. I think that majority of women that are strictly into dad bods, it's because they had their heart broken by a really, really hot guy that they thought that would go further than the one night stand.
But can we just point out something? They got their heart broken by a guy with a really nice body because they were attracted to a guy with a really nice body. Okay, I just want to make sure I just want to make sure we want that. Okay.
I don't think you are born in like, oh my God, dad bods. I don't think that's a thing. I don't believe that. Or I believe that some women are threatened maybe or feel uncomfortable because the bar is in hell for men right now. Like we're lowering the standards constantly, and times have changed when they say they don't make men like my dad anymore. They don't. Like that's just not a thing because we don't hold them to the same standards.
It's interesting because we have a friend that we were just discussing earlier who has an issue where he's been burned by a certain type of woman and now he's not attracted to that type of woman.
Okay, no,
right? So there's some guys, this does happen with men where they're like very much attracted to the most ostentatious looking woman with the longest hair and the biggest boobs, and then he's been burned by that type of individual and then looks for something different. So you're saying the same kind of thing happens. She's been hurt by Chad Thundercock, and so she doesn't want to do that again.
Chad Thundercock gave it to her real bad.
Gave it to her really bad. Okay, cool. What do you think, Vicious?
I mean, that
Speaking
kind
of the mic.
like that low-key, like honestly makes sense, but really, I don't know. I mean, everyone is different, but that
When you see a man who is in good shape, let's not go as far as like Schwarzenegger, but let's just say like Brad Pitt in Fight Club. Okay. Is that attractive to you, or do you think you need to be more fluffy than that?
No, I mean, let's be real. Like aesthetically pleasing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like, who wouldn't want to like drool over something?
Do you
like
guys
that,
understand?
you know?
See, what you're saying is like, do you understand how this is confusing for men? Like I'm a performance coach and I'm trying to beg men to go to the gym, and I have to deal with women saying I prefer a dad bod when they are literally trying to fucking cuckold a dude who has a dad bod while cheating on with a dude.
Maybe it's because they don't want them to like. Maybe they feel like, oh, if he doesn't look that good, then like another woman won't be that attractive.
Ding, 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 ding. Go ahead.
That's what I was just
Michelle.
going to say. It's like almost like, you know, you feel like you're kind of like, you want to feel safe. So like you pick like, oh, okay, this guy's not as cute, so he's not going to be a threat. No other girl's going to want this guy because he's like a little bit like unflattering compared to the hot guy. So you feel safe because that guy's not going to want to leave you. And they're like,
Again, but that experience comes from you dating the hot guy previously, right?
Or it could just be like just what you hear from other people too.
But you still recognize a hot guy as hot.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, but if he looks too pretty boy, it's not my type either.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay. Tristan, what do you think?
Tyler,
what the fuck am I doing? I'm sorry. Tristan, what do you think?
Either one of you. Answer for him.
Not you, no.
Tyler, what do you think?
I think it's a cope. I think it's a cope for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I would be curious to know how in shape is like optimal for attractiveness.
So
for
this is really great. So they do these things, and when they say dad bod, they mean Jason Momoa and Aquaman.
Right.
They mean Jason. So they mean just like basically not quite like Mastron and fucking Anavar ripped with the fucking veins right here in your lower abs, but they mean just a little below that with the just like with like just fucking big muscles, but like there's a little bit of like he drinks beer at the end of the day.
Right.
That's when they say dad bod. That's what they mean. They don't mean that. You seen that photo of Elon Musk at the beach where he looks like a fucking whale? Yeah. Is that what you were thinking of? You like that one?
No, I don't like that one. I thought that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, but I'm saying like but you know what that is? That's a fucking $400 billion physique. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll look past a lot of shit when the dude's worth 400. Is he worth more? He's worth it more than that now, right? I think he just made another $100 billion from.
He's trying to with the Tesla stock.
Yeah, so the Tesla
That's
stock.
what I was about to say. I just felt like if you are like an Oscar-winning actor or you're extremely famous, you can get away with that.
Status paired with that.
Yeah, so it's like always guys that they already found attractive or they already view as high value, not just some random dude.
It's really funny. So Adolfo Tex does a video where he shows 4 different physiques.
Yeah.
And one of the physiques the girl picks, and she's like, because it looks like my favorite actor, so and so, and it was that actor. So it's like one of these situations where it's like if a man walks around with a dad bod who's super high status. So you're Seth Rogen, you're Elon Musk. Who's the other one that we show the dad bod of? There's a Vince Vaughn,
DiCaprio,
Leonardo DiCaprio. Vince Vaughn had the dad. When we see the dad bod, we're talking about like award-winning actors worth more than $50 million, and they're incredibly famous. The like beyond blue check marks, super fucking famous people. When they have a dad bod, that it's okay because they already have attraction triggers set. Vince Vaughn does not have to walk around and like convince a girl to go home with him, right? So that's the one issue is that with the dad bod. But it's like when you're a normal dude and you do that, it's like I had one guy I knew. He would show up to some of my events wearing a pink dress, like Machine Gun Kelly. On my life. It was the weirdest shit I've ever seen. I'll tell you about him later. The guy had mental illness, whatever. But the point is,
of course
when Machine Gun Kelly wears
the pink,
MOA. When Machine Gun Kelly wears a pink dress, he's Machine Gun Kelly in a pink dress. He's already famous, right? And so what's happened is him wearing a pink dress actually makes him maybe a little bit more attainable, like less rough. And then so what happens with a normal guy when he walks into a place with a pink dress, they're like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? Like, what's wrong? Like, I don't understand. So that when you are Machine Gun Kelly, you look like a cool guy. When you're a dude in a pink dress, you're just like a fucking weirdo in a pink dress. So that's the only thing I'm saying, that it's just a little different. That's just my opinion. If you guys disagree, let me know.
It'd still be weird.
What do you mean?
I agree.
It'd still be
dress
weird.
is a pink dress.
Right, but his
any dress.
Hold on. But Machine Gun Kelly's tour is called the Pink Dress Tour. You say it's weird, but like he's literally dating Megan Fox.
I mean,
not anymore.
Well, I mean, I could also
probably because he cheated on her.
Has no one heard of a beard before? Huh? Nobody's heard of a beard before.
So you think he's secretly gay?
No.
Megan.
I know that any man that I've seen as like manly, not necessarily manly because they're so gruff and tough. Like my father would carry my mom's purse, but he's like tough as shit, but he just didn't care. He was in touch with his manliness, but that doesn't mean he's gonna put a dress on.
That's different.
Like he'd be like, absolutely fucking not.
I agree.
And
No.
Majority
I agree
of
with
the
you.
ones I know,
I think we're with the disconnect is I am saying this is bad advice. So I think the advice, like there's women out there that are saying men need to be more what's the word? Be in touch with their feelings in sort of like a feminine
we're
way.
dropping the bar to hell.
And men need to have dad bods. Do you understand? So like you said, we're dropping the standard, and then while we're doing so, what women are saying, like, oh, you see those guys who listen to us and dropped their standard and got fat, like we said, we're gonna go fuck their hot friends. Like that's what's going on. That's what I actually think.
I just tweeted this out not too long ago. It just struck me that whenever like people are telling guys they need to be more vulnerable, or it's okay to have a dad bod kind of thing, right? That's a really part of vulnerability, because you're not quite as jacked as somebody else, but it's okay because women are still going to find you attractive. No, they're not. The thing is that when the comparison I was making is that, I think it was on the last show we were talking about how there were women who would go to like the boutique, or they'd go to like a salon, and they would tell another girl to like, oh, get your haircut that much shorter. Right? Or don't worry, girl, you look great in that bikini, even though you could probably stand to lose about 20 pounds. It's this sort of it's really escalation in intrasexual competition. So it's like, oh, don't worry about it. You're still sexy at any size. You're sexy at any weight. You're sexy at whatever.
Do you think women are doing that deliberately to like bring their friend down so their friend is less competition?
Well, it's so that they don't. I think it's more. Well, yes, but it's
because
also,
that's what the girl said about like if you're because I'll be honest with you, I've absolutely experienced this. I'm in the gym 7 days a week. I'm starting to look better. And my girl's like, let's stay in and watch Netflix. Not Kylie, but like before that, it was like one of these situations where it's very clear. It's like, I need to go out and conquer shit. I need to kill the fucking meat and bring the meat back to the tribe. Right. Like that's my mentality. And she's like, let's chill and stay inside and like let's eat donuts. And in my mind, I'm like, so is she doing this because she wants my validation, or is she also doing this because now I'm less attractive?
She's trying to lock you down, is what it is.
Yeah.
So I was saying is like when guys when they say, oh, a dad bod's okay, be vulnerable, it's okay. It's the same thing as if like a woman is telling her girlfriends, oh, it's okay, don't get your hair cut a little bit shorter or whatever. It's you're okay. Because what happens is, you know how like they say what a rising tide lifts all boats? Well, it also declines all boats too, if you think about it.
Blowing tide.
And so what you're talking about is what we have a name for this. It's called the extra scoop of rice. Okay. And what the extra scoop of rice, this is a Japanese term, is like when a guy starts getting with a woman, the woman starts giving him the extra scoop of rice whenever they're having dinner, right?
Oh, yeah, Kylie, that's why those fucking crumble cookies are in my apartment every week. Kylie McGay, hey, you think I didn't recognize that?
Because what happens is it puts a little bit more weight on him, and so therefore he can't go out and like he's like women.
They're trying to take him off the market.
Well, exactly. Well, women want a man who other men want to be and other women want to fuck, right? Well,
she's not wrong. Like at the end of the night, she's like wants to have sex in the afternoon and then makes me eat cookies. Yeah, of course I'm not going out. I'm like, fuck. I'm not going out.
I'm
She's like, what are we doing? She's like, she orders me like beef, broccoli, and cheesecake from P.F. Chang's. And I'm like, I'm not going out after that. Like, she's very smart, honey. Caught you, honey.
So that's what's known, at least in red pill circles, as the extra scoop of rice, right? Because what it's meant to do is it's supposed to just not like make you super overweight, but just enough so that other women aren't looking at you and locking you down. Now, you also know this, is that when men get into long-term relationships, their testosterone tends to go down.
Yes.
And so when they get out of that relationship, or they break up or they get divorced, testosterone levels then rise after that. So with the decline in
the prolactin that comes along with it too, right?
And so now you're in a relationship. She's giving you the extra scoop of rice. Your testosterone has gone down. Congratulations, dad bod.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. So dad bod would be the result of that. Yeah, with the prolactin, like everything else you said. I'm curious what you guys thought about the other thing. You work out a lot. Allie Summers, I have to remember what to call you today. You work out a lot. The idea that Mac and Murphy said was the personality type of the guy who's in the gym that much.
Yes.
Do you agree with that? Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. It shows like self-discipline. I know what kind of maybe a little bit more you're a little bit more driven. Mm-hmm. You have goals.
So you find that attractive. So I think he was actually like maybe referring to narcissism, but okay.
You don't even have to be the fittest person in the gym, but I have this argument with people all the time. I'm like, just go to the gym, show consistency, show that you want to have self-improvement, because it also brings clarity to your brain, right? You're more of a like well thought out human being.
Absolutely. It's a healthy outlet.
So there's so many different benefits to going to the gym, and then on top of it, no matter what, you're going to look better than you did when you were not going to the gym, and there's so many other health benefits to it.
Do you think it's the look though, or the change in their like character?
You know, I like the boost in testosterone too. I'm not gonna lie. If I have a higher testosterone count than you, we got a problem.
So do you understand, like, so men will look at women and see certain things like nose ring, tongue ring, a bunch of tattoos, and then have certain, what is the word I'm looking for?
Stereotypes
about them. women would look at a man who's like that ripped and that kind of physique and they say what
something.
No, they would say they would have certain stereotypes about him, like what is causing him to be so concerned with his physique. Is that like what you were trying to describe before? Sometimes those guys are too ripped.
Kind of. I mean, no, it's more like the
Microphone.
boy. Like, it's more like when I said more, it's almost like too ripped. It's like a turn off. It's not really too ripped. I'm talking about more like feminine, like the model type. I'm not really into like the model.
Oh,
type.
you mean the like super,
yes,
the,
like
the too
feminine,
pretty,
yes.
the
I don't
too
really
pretty
like
one.
that type.
So we're talking, that's another type. It's really interesting.
Heroin chic.
Yeah. He's not talking about heroin chic. She's talking about the male model. Like,
Are you talking like too pretty in the face, or are you talking like the
all
body?
in general? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like if a dude gets like a facial peel on a regular basis and gets his eyebrows waxed and his nails are perfect. Like I've seen women be like, that's a little too much. You don't like that, Lucy?
No, I don't like it. I feel like if you're that into yourself, it starts to come with like some more sassy mannerisms, and then I look at you and I'm just
sassy
like
mannerisms.
If we're standing in the mirror as a couple and you're looking more at you than at me, and I'm a woman and I want to feel like the prize, then no, we're not doing that.
Could any of you guys have a problem dating a man who's prettier than you? Anybody would have a problem with that?
Like respectively.
you would have one?
But not sassy.
I like a little I don't know. I don't really like the.
You like some masculinity in your man.
Yeah. I don't like it where they look like they're
into the mic, guys.
Sorry, I don't really like where they're juiced out either. Like where it looks like they're on steroids and stuff
Any
like
of you
that.
guys, any of you guys dated someone on roids? Anybody? Has anybody dated one? Okay, you have.
Long time
What was
ago.
that? What was that experience like?
I mean, it was fine because I can understand the diet, and since I've gone through the process myself, it's given me a different understanding. Like I remember my mindset before I went to the gym myself, you know what I mean, with guys that I've dated that would go all the time. I would never really fully understand the mindset behind it. But now that I've been in it and done a competition, I have a totally different outlook. So it's better, like if you care about a person that that is in that world, then you want to help them stay on track and stay disciplined. And you have to respect, hey, they need to get their sleep because it's going to affect their body. If you can do that, you know what I mean, then you're going to be supportive.
That's an interesting
Was he
perspective. I never
taller? Was
thought
he
about
taller
that.
than you?
I've had both.
Was he? But the guy who
He's had both. He's had a taller one and a shorter one.
I've had both.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, she's leading the league in
Like,
hitting.
a lot.
Like I don't
Okay.
understand. She's leading the league in slugging percentage. She's had them all. Don't worry
Was your
about
guy
it.
was he extra super tall?
No.
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 He was just jacked.
What I want to ask you is,
2 words: gynoplasty.
oh wow. Yeah.
What is that?
So this thing called gynecomastia that happens. So if men take excessive amounts of testosterone, their body can turn some of that testosterone into estrogen, and the estrogen can cause the man to have man boobs. The term is called gynecomastia. Some people just have it naturally. You have gynecomastia, and then you can gynoplasty is the they basically do a surgery where they remove the mammary gland and they suck out the fat. I think that's how it works for a guy The Rock. If you guys look at before, but see the Rock is a great example of somebody who abused steroids and he got those boobs.
He took it when he was 14. What are you talking about?
The Rock in his biography says he took steroids one time when he was 14. Sorry, Dwayne.
It was trend for
sorry, Dwayne.
But yeah,
sorry to call you out like that, buddy.
Wait, you guys don't think he's natty?
Huh? Yeah, he's definitely 6'5", 275 natty.
50% natty.
Mike, I want to see something on the video. Do you notice how in the video McMurphy, he always has to draw this line where he couldn't concede that he had to say, "Hey, it's the personality of the guy who has the body. It's what's getting him in." He can't say, "Hey, because I have this physique and I'm in shape, that makes me more attractive."
Right.
You notice he can't say that?
Yes, I do. Totally. And I'll tell you why. Because you have to meet women halfway, right? It's like,
because he wants to get published.
They're really not that bad, right? It's like, no, they're really into guys who are really attractive with V taper, six pack abs, 6 feet tall. It has that physique, right? It's like, no, they really are that shallow. It's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I was going to say. The other thing that really annoys me about McMurphy is he'll say, "Oh yeah, there's all these great studies about this," and it'll flash them on for half a second, and you're like, where can I get a link?
Well, it's TikTok. I think he wants you to pause it. I think that's what's going on there.
You're going to be pausing it a lot.
I genuinely believe that he comes from a place where he's just interpreting data, but he has a different interpretation than we do. And
well, it's what I see is it's always half measures like that. It can't just be women. Well, for instance, I'm a big fan, just in the same way that you are a big fan of Dr. David Buss, I'm a huge fan of Dr. Marty Hazelton.
Yeah.
Marty Hazelton has done 25, 30 some odd years of studies on like why muscularity is sexy, and essentially it goes back to evolutionary psychology, and as we've already talked about.
The study. So for ladies who don't know,
meat on your bones.
There's one study that shows that 71% of attractiveness that women find towards men comes from upper body muscle. This is one of the things like guys skip leg day or whatever. A lot of guys, especially like if you're like me, I'm South American. My family's South American. We just have naturally big legs, man, and like so I had to like so. If you also listen to you know like Jay Cutler, he was talking about this. He did not work out his lower body for 3 years to let his upper body catch up to his lower body. So I often recommend to the guys in the program, work on upper body muscle as an attraction cue. Now here's the thing, right? A little bit of upper body muscle, unfortunately, it gets hidden by the t-shirt. You need a little bit more where you can see traps and delts and biceps. And so if you have that, like that's something that I found that it apparently, according to the study, seems to be a cue that a lot of women find attractive. Upper body muscle.
Any shirt is a muscle shirt.
For me,
if you have muscles.
Yes. Okay. Summertime, Michael, maybe.
Hey, I got a super chat here. This is too good. The Rational Asshole Trucker. Thank you. After losing 60 pounds, my wife said, "That's great. Now you'll be a thin guy married to a fat wife." Yep, and I plan to lose another 60 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Well done.
It is crazy. There's another study we
gotta love ourselves.
Next week, let's go over this. McMurphy also does one where he talks about people who date other people out of their realm, out of their league, right? Whatever that means.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is like what he's saying is less attractive men should not even be trying to date super attractive women. By the way, Jesse Preston was saying the same thing because when they do, they're more likely to get cheated on. And my response to that is no. As men, we can level up regardless of what we look like.
Yeah, if you're funny, you're gonna get the hot chick.
Thank you. That's my point. As men, it's like what's out of a man's league is contextual based on the number of attributes he has. So if it's comedy is up to 100 and charisma is up to 100 and money's up to 100 and his teeth are straight and his face is clean and he's got a relevant haircut and he knows how to dress and he drives a Phantom.
Do you see how he's contradicting himself, those two videos? Because in the first video, he's saying, well, if you just have the personality of the guy who's in shape, you don't need the actual physique. And then in the other videos, he's saying, well, if you're not that guy anyway, don't even go for it.
Yeah,
it all contradicts itself.
It's a spectrum. I think it's a spectrum. I think for all of this stuff, these studies are like, for instance, 83% of women falling in love with their affair partner means that 17% of women aren't. And when I say that, when I say 83% of women fall in love with their affair partner when they're married, a lot of women were like, "That's not me." I was like, "We're not talking about you. We're talking about just in general." And that also means 83% means 17% aren't. You guys understand that if I say there's an 80% chance it's going to rain tomorrow and it doesn't rain, that doesn't mean I was wrong. You guys understand?
Right,
a lot of people don't grasp that about statistics. It's very confusing to them. They think, "Oh no, he's wrong. The weatherman's wrong." No, the weatherman told you what the percentage.
I just realized that all of the videos you told me to download are like all about physique.
Are they? No, there's some that aren't. There's a few that aren't. Let's do. Hold on. Let's see.
We're doing a bunch of these.
Let's do. He's a 10. He's a 10.
Let's
do
that
one.
That's the next one.
Okay, Lana, can we get this one here? I'm very curious to hear what you girls think about this one.
Yeah.
Oh, you downloaded them. Oh, that's pretty dope.
All
Okay,
of them,
nice.
so we don't
Smart.
have to. Yeah, so we don't have to.
That's smart. Yeah, that's one thing. That's a good thing about
Ridiculous
TikTok.
of you.
I'll just right click on it and just hit VLC.
Well, because I'm trying to get it into it. There we go. Okay, this one. Is this the one you wanted?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay, here we go.
You can expand the whole thing out too. By
He's
the
a
way.
10, but he's short. A 1. I'm 5'5", so he's shorter than me. He's a 1. Okay. 7.
Oh, I'm sorry. I really need tall guys, so he's like a 6.
He's a 6. And then what about shorter than you?
Again, personal opinion. It's just what I'm just not attracted to guys shorter than me, so I'm gonna go with a 5.
He's a 4, but he's rich. That's all you know about him.
I'll go 7.
We have frame loss here.
So
That's like a whole topic.
Can we stop real quick? Hold on. We have frame loss.
He's a 6, but he drives a luxury.
Lana, can we turn that off real quick? Hold
But
on.
you'll bump up a little bit. So.
Did your computer lock up?
7. An 8. He's a 5, but he has a boat.
He's a 5, but he has a boat.
I just had this one with my girlfriend. 8.
Go up here to force quit.
An
All right,
8
we got
for
it?
the boat.
Hold on a second.
All right.
He's a 5, but he has a boat.
I have so many thoughts already.
These girls all sound like they should be on the cast of Mean Girls. Like, effing dumb.
I think you
So hold on. No, this is really interesting.
Thank you.
This is really interesting, Allie. You think that that's not correct?
Absolutely not. What's wrong with these women?
Okay, so just we'll go because the computer locked up. So we'll just express it for you guys. A couple one. He said if we'll ask around the table. We'll just do it with you guys. Okay. See if you get that started up again.
I have a big thought.
Ready? He's a 10, but he's short.
It doesn't matter to me. Hot is hot.
He's still a 10. He's still a 10. Got it?
Yes, he's a
cool. He's a
10.
10, but he's short.
I mean, I've dated guys around I'm 5'9", so I feel like I've dated guys around my height, but like with heels on. If they're like 5 foot, I mean, I don't know if it might be like a little.
So what?
Where's your limit? I don't want to talk to him like he's my child.
He's shorter than you. He's 5'8".
Yeah, probably.
How tall are you?
5'8", that's fine. I'm 5'9", like
5'9".
5'8.5".
So your average height.
Okay, cool. He's a 10, but he's short.
He can't be shorter than me.
Okay, so what would that put him?
Oh, I mean, he might as well be a 1. I just can't do it.
Cool. He's a 10, but he's shorter than you.
I mean, I've dated shorter, but in reality, like, I'm attracted to taller.
Okay, cool.
Can we wrestle in the living room?
Yeah. What if he can beat you?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a 10. So
He's a 10. He's still
flip
10.
me around, baby.
Beautiful.
Let's go.
Okay, cool. He's a 5, but he's rich. What is he now?
Oh God. Still a 5.
Cool. He's a vicious. He's a 5, but he's rich.
Still a 5.
Still 5. He's a 5, but he's rich.
Are we talking mega rich or?
We're talking rich to where we're talking rich where you guys don't have to wear. No, let's just say just below chartering a private jet, but like at least 2 houses, and you can have any car you want.
I'm a brat. He's like an 8 now.
He's an 8 now. Okay, so 5. He's an 8. He's a 5, but he's rich.
I don't know. I get the ick really easily, so I feel like once like I don't like someone, even if they're like a 5, I can't make myself like them no matter how rich they are. I feel like maybe I'll give it a 6, just like play with a rule of the room.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Go ahead.
That made me think about some of the girls in that video. I feel like based off their answers, very few, if any of them, have really experienced many wealthy, rich men to be able to say how she was like, I get the ick easily. She's gotten the ick before because she's dealt with that before.
Well, it's also Vegas.
Some people have like the idea that, a rich guy is just everything because they haven't experienced that in different levels to see that it's actually
if you're from Wichita, the rich guy is the guy who owns his own dental practice. If you're from Las Vegas, the rich guy owns the state of Wyoming. Like that's the difference. You know, the rich guy here is like the guy is a multi-billionaire, so it's a very different type of rich. Like, he owns the color blue. Like this guy is like richer than fucking.
Like the men the color blue. I love it.
He's a 5, but he's rich. Go ahead, Tyler.
I'll give him a 6.
He's a 6.
I'll give him a 6.
He's a 5, but he's rich.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay, cool.
Okay, I'm not buying this. If you had the choice between 2 guys and they're both 5s, but one of them makes $100,000 more than the other one.
Women crave stability. I don't buy it either.
I'm never gonna pick a 5 in general. Period.
Yeah.
But honest, like it's I
have plenty of guy friends who are multimillionaires, and that does not make me want to jump in bed and fuck them.
Let's finish
and here's the thing:
many
we
of
can
them that
be
are
great friends, and we can go off together and have fun together, but it'll never cross over that boundary because guess what? You are not going to bring my animal out. So if we're in the bedroom together, that's all I want. If I'm attracted to you enough to where you can make me act animalistic in the bedroom, that's all I need. If you can't do that, then I'm not interested.
Can you do that with your hand on the table?
So
can you explain that with your hand on the table?
Doesn't matter how much money.
What's going on? Hey, what's going on?
I don't care how much money you have.
You want to find out?
What's happening underneath the table there? What's going on?
So what you're saying is if he's a 5 but he's good in bed, he's a 10.
No, because I would never get in bed with him if I'm not physically
Isn't that
attracted
fucking
to him.
crazy? That is one of the crazy things, right? If he's a 5 but he's good in bed, they didn't ask that. But you're right. It's like the women aren't going to give him a chance because he's not a 5.
What makes him a 5? All of us would probably describe a 5 differently.
Sure.
100%.
Sure.
I think I know the answer to this already, but would you say you have a very high sex drive?
Oh, extremely.
Yes.
No way.
Is there any woman at this table that thinks she has a low sex drive? If you believe you have a lower sex drive?
I don't know.
You think you do, Michelle?
Well, no, because I mean, I don't know. We've had that conversation before. I don't know. I just, I get bored really easily.
I think the way you've explained it to me is that you don't enjoy sex the same way you've seen other girls enjoy sex. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
And it's maybe hindered the way you're attracted to a man in a relationship. You don't have the oxytocin release that maybe some.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'm not like super sexual where like I'm like, oh my god, like I am like I get
You
awkward.
give, like,
I
it gives
don't really
you have
talk
to-
dirty talk because I feel awkward. I can't like. Sorry. That's why whenever you're like, I'm so intrigued by like your sex panther thingy because I feel like I can't just be like that. I can't be like, oh yeah, let me see that hard like thing because I get like really blushy.
It has to be brought out.
Just do it the whole podcast.
I say that. I say that to my sales team. What are you talking about? I tell my sales team, let me see that hard.
I think I'm just really shy also.
But does that also have to do with like upbringing? How you maybe were never talking about it openly, or you were raised a certain way to where
talk about how
certain
upbringing
things
affects your
were bad
adulthood.
or not good, to where
I
it was
just get really
supposed to
shy.
kept quiet.
I don't know.
Because like me and my group of friends, and everyone who knows me since middle school and high school, they know I am exactly still the same. So we were in high school together making out rosters of each guy that I had an interest in, you know, and my friends would all come to me,
list.
you know, for advice. And we started with the bananas, you know what I mean? Like, but that was young, and we talked about
bananas. Damn, she's giving sex ed, bro.
So we started,
bro. There's some
amongst our friends.
There's some fucked up girls right now that have just been educated. Okay, we're gonna go. Hey, can we pop that back up, Lana?
Girls first.
Let's go ahead and hit play here.
You're doing God's work.
Lana, you might need to bring the volume up a little.
I'm just not attracted to shorter guys shorter than me, so I'm gonna go with
That's not coming through my headphones.
Is that coming through mine?
Yeah, I'm just hearing it on. I'm hitting it on Rollo's thing. Okay.
Am I queued up to where we were before?
Yeah, you're fine right there.
Okay. Do I need to test something?
All right, so there's the other thing. So you wouldn't know what we said before. You wouldn't know if he's good and bad if you weren't physically attracted to him. The other one they asked is he's what was the other one? He's a 5, but he has a sports car. What do you think? Nothing? Is anybody?
No, I don't
is
care
there
about
anything for you?
the
I have a
typical
sport car.
Yeah, but you do have a sports car.
I have a sports car.
Yeah, you do.
too,
Okay, so that will do anything. You know what I noticed is a really big difference. When people ask me the difference between Vegas and Miami, here's the number one difference. You want to know what it is?
The boat.
The boat. Yes, the number one difference is the BBD, the bigger, better deal, where you get fucking dunked on by the guy with the yacht. We don't have that in Vegas. Where you get dunked on by the guy with the dance floor table for Drake at Excess, but you don't get dunked on by the guy with the yacht. And because you don't get dunked, and by the way, the guys who go out to Lake Las Vegas, it's still an hour and 15-minute drive. So a lot of people don't want to go all the way out there. You got to be out there like fucking 8 o'clock in the morning. So a lot of girls don't even want to go do that. But like the fucking come on my yacht, bro. Like you live in Miami. I have some clients that go there like, yeah, man, I moved to Miami because I thought the girls were gonna be hotter, but I keep getting dunked on by the fucking come on my yacht, bro. And like the girl, I'll look at the girl's text messages, and she's got like 50 come on my yacht, bro messages, bro.
I got a question. Okay, so speaking of like regionality, I guess maybe that's a better way to put it. Like Las Vegas, I see this in the chat right now. I see you. I recognize you. Thank you very much. But a lot of people will say, well, that's Las Vegas, right? That's, the come on my yacht guy. That's Miami. That's Brickell, okay?
It's also Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach, yeah. But in various different locations. Now, what my question is like, are women's expectations, or are they looking for something different, like say in Vegas than they are say in like
absolutely
Wichita, Kansas?
I'm from Mississippi. If you have the newest John Deere and the biggest truck, you are that fucking guy. Like you get all. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you look like.
So a guy with a big tractor dunks on a guy with a little tractor.
Absolutely. You got.
Isn't it funny? It's just access to scarce resources.
Who's got the bigger John Deere?
Where are you from originally, Lindsay?
New York.
Okay, New York. Was it a different vibe there?
So born in New York, grew up in South Carolina.
Okay.
And so as a child, when I left New York, South Carolina was like a mini Vegas, but country and redneck.
Country and redneck.
So yeah.
So I have the reason I'm asking this.
We used to go mud bogging on the weekends and catch gators in the swamps. So
you and I have a mutual friend who I'm not going to name at this point, but he was telling me that the women in Detroit, he's like, they always want to like settle down with them. They always want to lock him down. Whereas like when he's in Vegas, it's like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You know, like it's a different vibe. Like casual like sex, like one night stands, the same night lay is going to happen in Vegas, but in Detroit,
Vegas, it doesn't count.
In Detroit, it's like, how come you didn't call me?
You don't even get a
I think that might have something to do. I do believe I read somewhere where there's more women than men in the Detroit area, like because the middle class has been.
It's not Detroit. I'm just using Detroit.
Yeah, but the middle class in some of these places think of these former manufacturing hubs: Pittsburgh, Detroit, Cleveland, places like that. Maybe in Baltimore, when you consider like the shipping industry. A lot of those middle class jobs went away, so a lot of those men left, and a lot of those women are like looking to settle down with the first thing they can get their hands on. I also heard the same thing at UT Austin, where it's like there's 14% more women than men there, so that's like pretty significant when women have a decision on who they want to go out with. So men have it easier.
So you think that women in those, and maybe the ladies can chime in on this as well, in those regions are more looking for a long-term kind of like lock him down, settle down, let's have babies and get married, versus like say being in Miami, Brickell, like there's a different expectation of the guy. If he's going to call back, he does. If he doesn't, and then in Vegas, of course, it's
Depends
do you have different expectations if you meet a hot guy in Miami versus if you meet one in Wichita?
Oh Yeah. What's there to do in Wichita? Let's
Well,
be in the house
but I
and
mean,
fuck
like-
all day and cook.
But what I'm saying is, like, the long
Shout out to St. Francis Street in Wichita. That's where I used to live.
So would you say that in Wichita, women are more inclined for a long-term relationship as opposed to if they live in like Las Vegas or Miami, they're expecting a short-term thing?
Oh, Michelle, do you think that's true? Because you were from Southern California, right?
Yeah.
Do you think you'd have easier time? A dude would have an easier time finding a woman who wants to settle down there than here?
God, I feel like it's like a lose-lose situation each way.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's impossible to find a guy in Vegas because like there's a million hot girls in Vegas and like there's only so many guys.
Very
and I feel like
transient here. Everyone
you
comes
read
and
my
goes.
mind.
One more time. There's a million hot girls in Vegas. It's impossible. Well, it's impossible.
Can you not hear me on my
No, I can hear you fine. It's impossible for a woman to settle down because there's so many fucking hot girls here.
Yeah.
I wonder why Michael has a program here. I wonder what's going on with
Don't come to Vegas.
And then,
Don't come to
like-
Vegas, guys. Whatever you do,
Don't ever come to Vegas.
Whatever you guys do, don't come to Vegas Immersion.
many hot
VegasImmersion.io. Do not go to VegasImmersion.io. Go ahead.
And then I always say, like, it's kind of like the guys, because they're getting all this attention from all the hot girls. Like, you know, in the industry, it's like there's so many hot girls that work out here. Then the 5 start thinking they're like 10s, and then they like, because they're getting all the attention of all the hot girls. And then they like treat girls like shit. Then they like think that they're like the 10. They can get a multiple. They can get like all these girls, but like in the real life, they wouldn't really get the attention.
What
of
she's
any
saying
of
is
us.
absolutely accurate. When I first moved here, the average girl I was dating was hotter than any woman I'd ever been with in my entire life back in Texas. That's absolutely true because there's just so many more girls in nightlife here, and there's just so many pretty. It's just so crazy. It's like you should fucking move here. No, I want to live in Los Angeles and pay 13% more in fucking taxes and be surrounded by homeless people.
But also,
just so crazy to me.
There's so many women to men here that are hot. It's like a lot of these men out here have this inflated sense of their worth
Sure.
or like their hot scale, whatever you want to call it, right? You're not that hot. You're not.
Yeah, but they're not being
These
rejected.
girls out here will suck your dick to get in the DJ booth. You know what I mean? Like they're just.
Then what's the use of being hot?
Are you guys? Hey, hold on. Time out. Hold on. Do you guys want a commission for my program? Like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? You're like selling
them
my
an affiliate
You want to
code.
you want an affiliate code? Keep talking more. Keep talking more about how the women are easy
But
here.
it's true. It's true, and it's so true.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, it's like
Guys
supply
just
and
have
demand.
to make an effort. That's something that they don't do.
Yeah, but they're still not suffering here, though.
Unfortunately. Not at all. What's that?
Yeah, there's not. They're not suffering.
Dime a dozen for the girls.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Do you want to try this one more time?
I think I might got it.
All right. There we go. We got audio. Do you want to try it one more time, Lana?
I did it on my end. It's okay. I got it. I got it now, Lana.
He's a 4, but he's rich. That's all you know about him.
I'll go 7.
6.
Okay, so he's like a 7.
8.
He's a 6, but he drives a luxury car.
But you'll bump up a little bit, so 7.
7. And 8.
He's a 5, but he has a boat.
I just had this one with my girlfriend. 8.
Jesus Christ. That's it.
There we go. That's it.
Wait, can I say something I've noticed? I don't know if this is the elephant in the room. Mike, we had this discussion like a couple weeks ago where I just noticed that, like, from maybe this is my anecdotal experience. The more attractive women don't have these standards. It's usually the not attractive women who have these ridiculous standards.
So what
I see that so often.
So what he means by that is this.
Say that.
So you remember?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember? Hold on.
100%.
Because the
100%.
pretty girls are the ones that are, or a lot of the pretty girls are the ones that are more secure with themselves because they already know the things to do. They already know the techniques to improve their appearance.
Right.
So therefore, you know what I mean? They don't
different
have.
Okay.
they
Do you
don't have
guys
those
remember?
insecurities.
Allie, Michelle, do you guys remember during COVID we threw all those photo shoots? We were at Ranch Island, at Michael Ever's house, at the Dragon Ridge. You guys remember all those parties and photo shoots we did during COVID, right? By the way, sorry to snitch on all of us, but we were partying like a motherfucker in Las
Wow,
Vegas
why didn't I know you guys did?
while the clubs were
so
ready.
cool.
Do you remember that? Like it was actually more fun. Anyway, the point we were trying to make is when we throw these photo shoots, what would happen? The girls with the biggest followings would always show up on time. They would never fucking complain. They were incredible to shoot with. All the guys were like lined up to shoot with them. The girls who had like 2K followers were asking us to fly them out to fucking Los Angeles, put them up in a hotel room, like give them a fucking what's it called, runner? What's it called when you I forgot what the thing's called when your DJ has
stuff you want.
Yeah, you order stuff.
Dude, it was the same thing.
A rider. Yeah, they like wanted a fucking rider. It was crazy. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, well, my rate is this. Like, shut the fuck up about your rate. Nobody even knows who you are. And I would write them. I'm like, Caitlin Runk, Kindly Myers, CJ Sparks are coming to this thing for free, but you want us to pay you? But I didn't say that because I don't want to come off as petty. But we're going back to what you said before.
It was the same thing. Even this year when we did we were doing the costume contest at Tao, I would be like, girls 400,000 followers, everyone would just be like, they like the message, they'll be there on time. Then a girl from Boston 2K followers, she's like, fly me out. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? Jesus Christ. I never have this problem.
You are giving these girls an opportunity to not just network, but make money and have do something else.
Oh, Allie, the bikini competitions. The messages I get from women, it's fucking madness. And they'll be like, well, you have to make sure I win, right? I'm like, why would I rig the competition?
Wait, what messages do you get from the bikini contest?
No, in the bikini competition, so I recruit.
Do they bribe you?
I send out like 4,000 messages.
Wow.
No, trust me, none of you make enough money to fucking bribe me. I'm not trying to be arrogant. But like,
I want to know if they try though.
No, dude. Like, I do the bikini competition for fun. Like, there's no way you're gonna bribe me. But the point is like this. Consider this. No, but consider this from my standpoint. Just to be honest, like Michelle, you've been in some of the contests.
Yeah.
If I was actually taking bribes,
no,
you'd find out.
I don't even think you don't even.
Yeah, but you'd find out about it, and then no one would do my contest.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I have the 3 biggest contests in the world is because I recruit and nobody thinks that we rigged. Well, the one that's mine is the one at Wet Republic that I do with Wet Republic.
Remember I was going to go to that one when you started doing it because the one I went to before, when I was doing the one before at Wet, it was kind of, I thought it was a little rigged. It wasn't like how it was whenever we did the Hard Rock one.
Yeah.
So then you said you were going to change it and make it better.
Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is the messages we would get from girls were delusional. It was fucking.
Oh, you're talking about this year when we were both.
No, we were booking for the bikini. It was just crazy. And then it was like Kindly Myers was like, "Oh yeah, I'll fly out. Yeah, I'll be a judge, dude. I'll do whatever you want." Like the girls with the biggest followings were just on it. They were always on time. They were prepped. They looked ready. Every girl 100%. Was following around. Every girl was trying to take pictures with them because they treated it like a job and they were fucking professionals. And then the girls who were just like you said before, it is this mid-tier girl who is so much trouble. Yeah. And I just can't. And this is why this is another thing that I talk about in Men of Action all the time. It's like when the guys start just talking to prettier girls, your life is easier. I know this is the opposite of what you've heard before, but like prettier girls, I'm not saying there isn't some chaos involved with them. What I'm saying is like it is these mid-tier girls that think because they have doctored their photos using FaceApp and Facetune that they're actually a 10 and they treat you like they're actually a 10. That is what I'm not. Of course, all girls that are attractive are going to give you some chaos. I'm not saying that. Well, I'm not saying that's not the case. What I'm saying is what I found is the opposite. There's this mid-tier where I have problems, and when I get to this like upper level, like hottest girls, I actually have no issues at all.
I have no issues at all.
They know where they show up on the fucking guest list. They're doing red carpet photo shoots. They're fucking texting you back immediately. They're never doing no call, no show. If you hire them for a job, they're there fucking immediately. The hottest girls, they're the ones who are doing this. So I would like, my whole thing is like, guys, if you're going to do this, just do it with the prettiest girls.
So I'm looking at the chat right here. Now this is a big myth, okay? People say like 9s and 10s are the biggest gold diggers. I'm like, no, they're not. It's the 6s, 7s, and maybe 7.5, 8s, right? Because 9s and 10s, they make enough money that they don't have to be gold diggers, bro. That's
for sure.
Thing.
Yeah. For sure.
Wanting a man to match your lifestyle is one thing, but being like, oh my God, Elon Musk and his dad bod, when you know damn well you don't like that, that's different.
Yep. Do we want to do another one?
I definitely want to do another one. I want to do. Hold on. I want to do. Where's it at? Sadia Khan.
Oh, okay. Let me see where I can grab her real quick. Because do you know what the title of that one was? It's on your thing.
Yeah. So I texted to you.
It's the second one down. Is the next one down? It's this one. I think Why Women Want.
Yeah, that Why Women Used to. That's the one.
Here,
let's try this one.
Here we go. Yeah, there she
is.
There's my favorite girl. She was mad at Rollo this week. Hi, Sadia.
But women don't want better. They want what they're used to. So if you meet a woman whose dad was an alcoholic or a dad was abusive or didn't grow up with a father figure, she will have a high-value rich man who treats her really well and cheat with her toxic PT in the back of his Nissan. And you're thinking, but you've got a rich billionaire, but she's like, I want that chaos. So your competition is never other men. Your competition is her values and her culture. And when you pick a woman who is the dream girl, values and cultures are not monogamous. Unfortunately.
So I agree to a certain extent. I think when her values are that screwed up, she's correct. But I don't think this is the case with all women. I do think a lot of women do want chaos. But I've definitely been in a situation where I've seen a girl who it was very clear she wanted chaos. She was like dating someone who's clearly like she's dating the DJ, and then she's like confused why he's cheating on her, and then keeps going back to him. And it was just it was such a turnoff. I was like, why would you let it's a turnoff to me to watch a girl let a man treat her like that. That's just me, right? That's the way I see it. But there's a level of chaos, and when guys see really attractive women, they don't care about that. They don't care about that chaos. Here's the other thing about the chaos. The chaos comes in waves, right? The chaos comes in waves. Have you guys ever had a night where you went out and you just didn't want anyone to talk to you, and a night where you went out and it was on and popping? Have you ever you have different nights, right, Lindsay?
100%.
Like sometimes women are in just like different moods. I've always said this before, dude. Every night, ladies, you can disagree with me if you want to open this. There's 3 nights a year, or maybe 3 nights every 5 years, where any girl, if you bumped into her at the right time, you could end up going home with her. If you were just you agree with me?
I think so.
If it's just if you hit the right girl at the right time,
all you have to do is not fuck it up.
Just right.
You understand?
That's a hard one right there.
She just got broken up with, something like that happened, and if you were just right there on the right night. And that's the thing, a lot of these girls who like chaos, if you guys have ever dated a girl who has bipolar disorder or borderline personality disorder, when you meet them on the upswing, it's open. It's
awesome.
It's wonderful.
It's so much fun.
Awesome.
Everything is open. If you guys, this is a good lesson for any of you guys who are watching. If you ever meet a girl who's BPD, this is
just time everything.
This is the description. Tell me if you've experienced these symptoms.
BPD 1 though, not 2.
BPD 1.
There's 2 different ones.
So
one is like this.
In this one, what you're going to see is openness. She's down for anything. She follows you everywhere.
Manic.
She wants to do anything. She's manic.
Obsessive.
Like you want to fuck her and 4
Ride
girls.
or die.
You want to fuck her and 4 girls at the same time. She's down for whatever.
In the middle of Walmart.
Yeah, in the middle of Walmart. Everything is okay. Everything is open. Everything is more. Everything is better, and you are incredible. Then you call her back a couple days later, and she ghosts you. She blows you off. What the fuck's going on here? That was weird.
Buyer's remorse.
Is it buyer's remorse? So what is it? A lot of times you're dealing with about 6% of the female population, or 6% of the population suffers from BPD, borderline personality disorder. So that's essentially what you're going through. But the problem is a lot of guys go out there and they'll meet girls that are going through that, and they think that they have game. They think that they created that. Like, no, a lot of times you just bump. You got lucky. You got lucky because you met up with a girl while the iron is hot. I know a buddy of mine, he ended up sleeping with this like supermodel. He was just out at a bar one night, and he just was drinking alcohol, and the girl was like, okay, cool, I want to go home. And I knew who the girl was. And it was just like, she was on that night. She found out her husband was cheating on her. He happened to be at the right place at the right fucking time. And then that shit happened. You know what I'm saying? So
She was looking for instant gratification.
Yeah,
got it
for
right
sure.
in that moment.
So
yeah.
here I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in all this. Saudi is full of shit. She's been full of shit for a long time. She all of this stuff is just basically pop psychology, just rehashed over and over and over again.
I don't think it's pop psychology. I think she's putting in her opinion.
Put it this way: Dr. Orion Taraban is a way better analyst when it comes to like human psychology and evolutionary psychology, but he doesn't have tits and he doesn't look like her.
Well, I'll say. Hold on, let's say this about Sadia. I don't think she's claiming that some of these things, like the only thing a woman likes in all men is a man she can't manipulate. She's not saying that's a scientific study.
Literally,
she's not saying it's
the
scientific.
title of the video is why women want what they are used to. Okay, here's the thing is if a woman is used to a hot ass guy who's exciting and fun, like Mr. Perfect sucks. All right,
Yeah.
Perfect is boring. When you were talking, I need a guy that can really like turn me on and like really bring out that animalistic thing. Once you're with a guy that actually does that, like that's the next benchmark. That's what you're used to. It's not about your fucking
raised the
culture.
bar.
It's not about your fucking like how you were raised or whatever. Was that guy the it guy?
You don't think the upbringing has anything to do with it?
I think it does in a sense because that's gonna determine who that guy ends up being, obviously. But once you get to that guy, that's the next level. That's the benchmark for the next one that comes up. So if you're with a guy who's like the guy's a rock climber and he flies helicopters and he parachutes from high places, right? If that guy is a base jumper and he can turn you on and really get your blood flowing, that guy is now that's what we call an alpha widow. Okay, that guy is an alpha and you're widowed away from. Okay. So if that's what you're used to, perfect.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
I think what she's saying is during adolescence and young adulthood, the level of chaos you experience as a woman will then lead you to a sense of equilibrium later on in life for that same level of chaos.
And then we hear about church girls who go like nuts because they went to a Catholic girls' school their entire life, and then they suddenly become the biggest sluts that anybody's ever been with.
Yeah, well, that's we had Nicolette Shea on here.
So
and
is
she
that
was
because is that repressed? I mean, we have Rose on here occasionally too. Like, she's like sort of I've discovered my sexuality, right? Well, background, her family she lived in a fucking cult.
Yeah.
Right. So
maybe it was different type of chaos.
I don't see her fucking cult member.
I think that comes down to personality type, though. There's some women that rebel against everything they've known because they decided my childhood was not what I want to experience anything close to ever again.
So then it's not what they're used to. It's what they want to get.
But I feel comfortable saying that I think for women, the bar is set based off of our childhood, based off of having a father, not having a father, having an abusive father, having a...
And then based on their level of growth.
Right.
So
and you choose those new standards and they evolve.
There's
the
never,
baseline is from your
There's never going to be a
childhood.
1-to-1 correlation either. There are people who grow up without parents who end up great, and there's people who grow up with parents who ended up being terrible. So there's the Menendez brothers, right? Like there's always examples of either kind of thing. What I think the answer is like our discussion about dual mating and mate switching is that I think it's a spectrum, and there's a spectrum. Like I think a girl can be fucked up enough in her childhood to where she does crave chaos. The other thing though is that when we talk about borderline, histrionic, narcissism, or antisocial personality disorder, there's a certain piece of that is genetic, especially with antisocial personality disorder. So a genetic necessity for chaos might also be in there. But one thing I've noticed as a man, when we talk about red flags, when I see a woman who is consistently complaining about her last 3 exes being the same way, they're all narcissists. And they might actually be. They're all crazy. They all treated her bad. At some point, if you have if you've had 10 roommates and all the roommates you have a problem with, eventually you're the roommate with the problem. Eventually you have to come to the realization you're the roommate with the problem.
I've come to the conclusion that narcissism is a cope. It's seriously when women say, the last guy I was with was a narcissist. That's
I think a lot of times it is.
No, that's a fucking cope.
The term is abused, but I definitely think that
I think some of them are. I've seen some dudes who are pretty bad. Like they're
that's why I kept
beating the shit out of women.
We had Jesse Preston on last week, and I was like, what's when you get to like attention seeking versus like true narcissism? Where's the threshold right there? Because unless you can tell me that, it's a fucking cope.
Yeah, I dated two. So the 2 guys I dated back to back, one was absolutely a narcissist, and the next one was just batshit crazy and wasn't loved as a child and was super attention seeking. And because
what do you think made him a narcissist?
Like super clingy?
The first one?
Yeah.
What made him a narcissist was this is so tough.
Do you think women are making it a cope, or the psychological community is making it a cope?
I think
they're feeding into each other.
I was going to say I think the psychology community realizes that women love to use that as sort of a rationale to explain why their relationships aren't working, and so therefore it's men's fault. So what can we say? Well, it's either cope or the guy's it's either he's a narcissist. Or the guy is like clingy and codependent. Yeah. Those are usually the two.
So wait, back to what you were saying. What about him, do you think made him a narcissist?
So what made him a narcissist, in my opinion, was his upbringing. He was the prize child of his family. He could do no wrong. He was raised with his mother, who has 2 brothers and 7 sisters, and all of the women. He was the first grandchild. He was just the prize of the family. He was everything but a pillow princess, and even that sometimes. And it was just, he just thought he was the prize, and everything
pillow princess,
was
like he wouldn't go down on you? What do you mean?
Oh, absolutely. They all do that. But
but that's what pillow princess means. That's what pillow princess.
I know what it means. I know what it means. He didn't want to ever get it popping. It's not that he wouldn't. Well, eventually over time, he did everything right, but that was because we were together a long time. But no, he was sometimes a pillow princess because he'd be like, yeah, I'm the prize. Want to put his hands back.
Yeah, but ladies, pillow princess means when you have a threesome and there's one girl in there who's not as gay as the other one.
It's not always a threesome.
No, I'm saying where I got the term pillow princess
from.
Pillow princess means you're having a threesome and there's one girl you bring in and she's not as gay as the other one, and so she won't go down on one girl, but she'll let girls go down on her. That's a pillow princess because her head's on the pillow.
Pillow princess is where you lay back and you let the other do all.
But you don't do any work. My point is you don't do any work. Yeah, that's what
I actually learned something in this.
You did. Okay. Ready, guys? Narcissistic personality disorder. Narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, is a mental health condition in which a person believes they are better than everyone else. While many people have narcissistic traits, people with NPD have problems that affect their lives, relationships, and everyday life. People with NPD may appear arrogant with an inflated self-image and disregard for the feelings of others. NPD is a part of a cluster of personality disorders with symptoms of intense and unstable emotions and distorted self-image. It usually starts in early adult years and affects more men than women.
Oh,
so
was that your guy?
I thought, yeah. So things, once you say the definition, I can go, it rung some details in. So his emotional intelligence was also almost non-existent. To be raised by all women, you would think
That's because
that you
there's
would
no
have
such
that.
thing as emotional intelligence.
Okay, awareness then. Let's say that. Like emotional awareness, empathy, it was almost non-existent. He was a good person. In general, he would be a good friend. But then when it came to women or just anyone that he was supposed to be seen as an equal to, he had to make it abundantly clear that he was not equal. To me, to any girl he dated, anyone in the past and future. Like, that's just what his standard was. Like, you are not the prize I am, so flock to me.
Can I throw something out here? And maybe
That's like
Tristan will, because Tristan, the psychology major here. So do you think that perhaps because we want to so readily apply or diagnose guys with narcissism, do you think, because I hear this all the time from people who complain, like especially women who complain about the red pill, those red pill guys are turning into narcissists. Oh my God. Is it because they suddenly sacked up and found their fucking nuts? And now they're seem like maybe they're a little bit arrogant, maybe they're a little bit more self-important.
I think it's the fact that they can change their attractiveness, and then that's what is.
Well, because men, because what is the most common thing we hear about guys today is that they're pussies. They need to man up. They need to they're lost boys. They need a direction. I mean, we need more masculine men, not less masculine men, because we have had such less masculine men for a long time. So what happens is when that guy finally says, you know what? You're right. I'm going to man up a little bit. You man up 10% more, suddenly you're a fucking narcissist. So, because you care more about yourself than you do about the opinions of...
Saying like the narcissism's relative.
Well, put it this way. Like women no longer...
somebody?
Well, women no longer become the focus of that guy's life, right? Her estimate of women's estimate of that guy is not what he bases his own self-worth on. Suddenly when that happens, everybody says, oh, he's a narcissist because he's thinking about himself more than he's thinking about me.
These are traits. So I think here's where I would draw the line. I would draw the line here. If a woman and a man have a conversation and the man is very forthright, says, hey, listen, I'm going to sleep with other women. I'm not going to be beholden to you. We're not going to be in a monogamous relationship. I'm going to do whatever I want. They continue to sleep together and she expects him to change and he doesn't change. Often I hear women calling that man a narcissist, but he was totally and completely honest. I know, this is what I'm saying. This is where I'm drawing the line. Where I draw the line is when the man is deliberately lying to the woman in order to try to have sex with them with no regards for her feelings or anyone else's. That would be closer to narcissism to me. Both things are possible, but my point is I often hear women complain about these dudes, and then when I talk to the guys, they're like, yeah, she was fucking crazy. She would break up with me, and then she'd get back, and she threatened to kill herself and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, I only heard half the story, and she was using that word as, like you said, a cope or a leverage point in order for her to win the argument.
I've noticed people say that about you guys every time I go out. I'm like, don't come on the fucking show. Every time I hear this, every time I go out, you guys are narcissists.
Well, like for instance, maybe you can answer this question. Like you have the guys in MOA, the guys who actually ratchet it up. They actually take it to heart and they build themselves up from something that they weren't, and now they become something bigger. Do you hear it from them? They say, well, women now think I'm super self-important and that I'm full of myself now because I've been part of MOA for so long, and now. Because I was so low that I came up just a touch. I'm not here. This maybe narcissism is up here, but I'm up here because I was going to MOA, and now suddenly it's like I care about myself. I'm actually prioritizing myself more than I was before, and now suddenly I'm a narcissist.
What you're describing is a percentage of men, and it's a situation where a woman is calling a man a narcissist, but he's not a narcissist. She's just never heard no before.
Well, if
this is the first time she's ever heard no.
If the average guy is just this simpering piece of shit, right, and he suddenly becomes not that, I think.
You're saying comparatively I'm
thinking that
that.
Women's maybe the ladies can answer this for me. Is the estimate of the average guy so low that when that guy just levels up just one single level, that suddenly he becomes like a narcissist, or suddenly he becomes more self-important and he seems like he's arrogant?
I think arrogance and narcissism are two vastly different things.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Well, I think another thing could be...
Hold on. What he's saying is, we've had our guy say this, you've changed.
What we
hear all the time. The thing we get most of the time is you've not
changed.
quite. We don't quite get NPD, but often I get my clients. They'll come to me, and this is the story. This is just one generic story, but this story can fit on over 100 guys who are watching this right now, who are in Men of Action. They're talking to a girl who they used to have a crush on, or they had a crush on. They join my program. They start working on their fitness. They start working on their social media. They start working on their ability to communicate, their ability to lead, and they have more abundance with dating. And then they start posting pictures of them out having fun with other attractive women. And then the women that they used to like say, hey, you've changed. And they say you've changed right before those women sleep with those men. and then later call those same men narcissists. That I have seen often.
Can a guy go from being just like average Joe to suddenly becoming a narcissist?
I think
is it something you can develop, or is it like genetic?
I think it's something you can develop.
It's you usually develop this in adolescence.
Yeah, because I think you can unlearn some of those behaviors as well. I've seen that happen with the same guy I was talking about that I dated. He's unlearned tons of the behaviors that he had before, and I see a very different man in front of me today.
Are you saying he's gotten treatment for NPD and like has like walked all these traits back, or?
Yeah, that, and also just being just starting to be more aware of other people's emotions in the way that he affects them instead of just focusing solely on self.
Right.
So I think, he's, when I say totally different person, I mean a totally different
person.
Yeah,
there are people I definitely met who are narcissists. Like they're above everyone else. That's the main thing I look for, is above everyone else. But whenever I want to hear about someone's narcissist, I need to talk to that person. Well, the problem is when I'm hearing the description of that person through the lens of the person they broke up with, then there's always some distortion. I can tell you in every relationship that I broke up with, I had to go back like years later and say, I did something wrong here. What did I do wrong? Most people will never do that. Most people, when a relationship ends, they are just the victim.
No,
so,
you have to. It
exactly.
takes two people to take over, regardless. Whether what you did wrong is I stayed too long, I allowed too much. There's always going to be something that you could have done better. Just like every day, you could look back at your day and say, I did really great today. I accomplished goals. I did these great things. But hey, what do I want to do better tomorrow?
So I think to a greater degree, personality is genetically determined.
Agreed.
Okay, because if you go and you look at the 4 laws of genetic behaviorism, that's you literally, there are like, it's not like one gene, it's a combination of like a bunch of little genes that might lead to you to having like dark triad personality traits, or have more of a creative aptitude, maybe you're more of an artist, whatever it is. That a lot of those personality traits can be tied to genetics, right? That being said, that's proclivity as opposed to learned behavior. Can you learn behaviors that are like sort of like survival traits?
I think you can learn behaviors, but you can't learn to change a new personality. Well, which is what narcissism would be.
See, that I was going to say is that personality, as far as like what your base proclivities are, that's genetically determined.
Right.
But if you live in a society that represses those things, then you're probably going to be less of that because you just simply don't live in an environment that is, promotes whatever it is, and it doesn't necessarily have to be bad. It could be like creativity. It could be a religious repression of sexuality. Maybe you're a very sexual person because that's the way you're genetically how you are. But if you're raised in a certain way, if you're in a certain country or a certain culture that's going to repress that, well, your natural proclivity might be, I want to be a raging slut, but I can't be that in this particular country in this particular time.
Beautiful. I want to read these super chats real quick, and then let's go to another one. First one is from Stephen A. Smith. Oh, good to see Stephen A. Smith finally watching. Michael, how about them Cowboys? Listen, if Jair Alexander doesn't commit that clear pass interference penalty to get that first interception, maybe the Cowboys win. The second one is marriage causes divorce. Women with anxious psychological attachment styles tend to love drama-rich environments and narcissists who sell fantasies like the Tinder swindler. I could see that too. I've definitely lost out. The girl, let's say I'm physically attracted to her, and then I see the guy that she's with, and then I'm just very confused. But what I don't understand, because I'm not capable of this, is he provides chaos that I can't provide. And so I'm like, because there's always this thing I couldn't figure out, like, why is she with him? He provides a certain level of chaos. He provides a ticket on the roller coaster that I just don't have. If I like something, I'm going to tell you I like it. If I don't like something, I'm going to tell you I don't like it. And when I'm busy, I'm going to go to work. And when I'm not busy, I'm going to be spending time with you. I'm very fucking simple. When I'm hungry, I'm going to tell you I'm hungry. When I want sex, I'm going to tell you I want sex. Very simple. I don't provide chaos into my relationship. When I see other guys that are able to do that, there's a certain type of woman that they can attract that I've always been confused by that when I see it from the outside looking in. Marriage causes divorce. Who is worse, the male narcissist with the disorder or the woman addicted to the drama and the fantasies that the narcissist sells? So the idea would be what narcissists want. They're like vampires. They want what's called narcissistic supply, which is basically me getting an effect out of you, draining you, hurting you, whatever the thing I need, and your effect, your anger or whatever, I'm getting energy from it, almost like an energy vampire, like, you know what I'm saying, from like what we do in the shadows, like an energy vampire. So that's what narcissists want to do. The thing is, who is to blame? Terrible. I don't know. I don't know the answer is. I think the narcissist is probably worse than the woman who gets, her who wants the drama. But it sucks. Like but it's so funny. It's so funny.
Stockholm syndrome is a real thing.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question, ladies. Let me ask you, ladies. You or someone has gone on a date with a man you had no intention of having sex with. Has that ever happened? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Yes. All of you ladies know, or you yourself, or you know someone who went on a date with a man you would have no intention of having sex on. Guys, Tristan just walked out. Tyler, Rollo, do you know any guy who goes on a date and spends money with a woman he is not interested in having sex with? Have you ever heard of that?
Nope.
No. It does not happen.
Well, definitely not.
Unless it's his sister or mom.
Exactly.
I've done this on multiple times where if I know that I am not interested and you've taken the time out, I actually pay for dinner.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a huge,
that'd
be a huge sign right there.
For the dinner. But I let you know early on, like, hey, look, like, I'm not going to sleep with you. I think you're really cool. I love the fact that you work in the Raiders Stadium and you probably get free Raiders tickets. So I accepted this date, and I'm just going to let you know right now. But I will pay for dinner, and we're going to go smoke.
Good on you.
Yeah, I've done that like twice.
That's nice.
Whoa, sex. No,
anyway, so the point I was trying to make is there's another thing. Like if we were a man, if I'm a man,
romance me a little bit.
I'm trying to think. If we were in a relationship with someone who was as big and strong as us and they were beating us, we would just leave. I'm sorry, most men would just be like, I don't want this, and I would leave. Yet women often will stay in these relationships for long periods of time with men that are physically abusive, and it's very confusing for us on the outside looking in. Which goes hold on before you say what you're going to say. Which goes back to Sadia's thing about what I call equilibrium. If you grow up around a lot of chaos becomes where you find your equilibrium, and that's how, like, for as men, we can't comprehend this idea of going on a date with someone we wouldn't want to have sex with, or being in a relationship with someone who physically abuses us. There's just things like of course we would never do this, but women will do that, and so it's very confusing for us as men.
I thrive in the chaos.
I would. You can go first.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so I was gonna say, like, growing up, my parents, they were totally like soulmates, you know, together from 14, and that's really rare. However, I always wanted to have like that, you know, like I always wanted to have what my parents had, but it didn't work out like that. And unfortunately, I have been with men who I thought was like my person, and they like ultimately were very actually either mentally abusive or emotionally abusive, physically even too. But it's like, for me personally, it's like my heart is like, I'm just like attracted to the person, and I just like have so much love for that person. Like you just want them to be better, hope for change.
You're explaining the point I'm trying to make is that there's this attachment that women have to men that is outside the understanding of men's attachment towards women, I think. Because again, one more time, like I see men staying in abusive relationships, but I get why they're doing that. They're doing it because they get to continue to have vagina. I totally understand what's going on there.
Simple.
Like, it's very, very fucking simple. We're not complicated. But I see women often, and they'll stay in relationships where they're getting beaten. In fact, if you guys remember the O.J. Simpson trial, one thing that Martha Clark did that really screwed her case up is that she believed that she was going to paint O.J. Simpson as a woman beater, and then that was going to be the end of it. Because there were 21 times that they called the police on O.J. Simpson, 21 times for domestic abuse, and they thought if we paint him as a white woman beater, then we can then paint him as a murderer as well. What he didn't understand is that among African American women, which there were 9 African American women on the jury, 69% of them thought that some domestic abuse was acceptable, and so they weren't able to paint him as a domestic abuser. Yeah. Yes, that's part of the reason why he got off.
Do you remember when was it Chris Brown that beat up on Rihanna?
Rihanna, yeah.
And there's just big Twitter storm of women who were like, he can beat me up anytime he wants to.
But hold on. Like,
you ever seen Chris Brown at Dre's?
Hold on. It doesn't matter. One more time. After he beat Rihanna, I was with Love Drop, Chris Odom, the guy from Venusian Arts, and I said, I will bet you any amount of money after, like, you saw the pictures. He beat the crap out of her. I said, I'll bet you any amount of money she goes back to him, and she was with him 2 weeks later. They got back together again. So what like, ladies, maybe you can explain, what is that?
I believe I think it's a 2-part reason. So one that I don't exactly know the answer to, but the first one being women's natural ability. Some have it more than others. It just kind of comes with the territory to be more nurturing and loving. We think that we
so
can
the
heal.
Nurturing stuff makes you look past the bad stuff.
Yeah, because we think I can love this out of you, or maybe I can. We think that we're fixers. We're naturally fixers. Now, I'm not saying everyone,
sure.
but a good number of women, we're just like, I see your pain. We have a higher level of empathy. We're like, oh, you're fucked up like this because of your childhood or because of this or because you're having this in your life, even though we feel like the man can't recognize that. So I think that's one part to it. Not everyone, but I think a good majority of women have had more faith in a man than he's had in himself to change. The other thing is, and I preach this I'm a girl's girl, and I preach this to my girls and my friends and just anyone in general, young girls, is that you cannot fall in love with potential. And when you see a man and he's showing you, when someone shows you their true colors, you have to believe him. He's whooping your ass. He's talking crazy to you, calling you out of your name. And you're sitting here like, maybe I'll change. He showed you who he is, believe him. And we're not going to fall in love with potential with people. We're not going to do that. Someone shows you who they are, and that is who they are. Leave.
You hope they can change.
No, but you're giving great advice, but you have to give that. You notice me as man, I never tell, hey buddy, you need to stop letting your woman hit you. Like I don't have to give that advice, but you're giving that advice, and that's my point. That's my whole point. Is like it's good advice because you have to keep giving it though. Why do you have to keep giving it? Why are so few girls listening to this? Anyway, go ahead. What you say, Rollo?
Are your parents
because
still together?
until internally you're just done with it, that's the only time change can happen. So it like sometimes being abused once just isn't enough for someone. Some people, they could have a terrible upbringing, which, like you said, you thrive in chaos because chaos is what you're used to. It's become your normalcy. Yes. So since
you think everyone's going through it,
right? So since that's become your normal, you know what I mean? Like you don't know how to escape it because it feels familiar and your lows, and you also don't know too, like. You give a portion of the story to tell, but was it provoked? You know what I mean? Did you play a role in how it escalated to that point? Yeah. It's never right. You know what I mean? No one should ever beat anybody. No one should ever lay hands on another person, period. But it does happen. And if it does happen, well, how did it happen? What happened? Was somebody not listening? Was somebody giving silent expectations? Did somebody, respond a certain way, or were buttons pushed too much? Did you say stop and the other person didn't listen, and as a result you had to protect yourself? What the fuck happened? Nobody discusses that part. You just hear the backlash of it, and
Lindsay,
all of that plays a factor.
Lindsay, he talked back to you and you had to beat his ass.
It happens.
I mean, it could happen.
You elaborated that beautifully. That was great.
Lucy, are your parents still together?
So I actually grew up very odd, different, whatever. My mom passed away 6 years ago, and my parents were 30 some odd years apart. My dad's 80. He just turned 84 a few days ago. And my mom passed away when I was pregnant with my daughter about 6 years ago. So, but they were together. This is where I had to preface it with it was a little bit odd. They were together. They were married for 30-something years, something like that. 20-something years, something like that. And my dad is a widower, so they were married when my mom passed away. But they were each dating different people. They had separated about 5 years prior. My dad was dating his elementary girlfriend. My mom was dating her first love that she should have married a long time ago. And they were happy. They were cool. They were separated. They didn't plan a divorce. It was just they just didn't care. They weren't going to divorce. It was too much trouble. So
and your parents are still together, I take it? Vicky?
Well, my dad passed away when I was 21. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And your parents still together?
Raised by a single mom. Dad died when I was 12.
Yeah. No, they're not together.
They're
so
not. Do you have brothers or sisters?
I'm an only child.
Do you have brothers or sisters?
I have 5 brothers.
Wow.
And I'm the baby.
Same.
Only child.
Same. And your parents still together?
No, my mom left my dad for a woman.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have a brother.
You have a brother. No. So the reason I'm asking is just I'm wondering, does that sort of color the expectations that you have in your relationship? Are you when you're looking for a long-term relationship, I would presume, because it would be different than if you're one-night stand kind of thing, but
it makes a difference for me personally. I saw my parents fight a lot, not physically, but verbally. They were just, I always describe it as my dad was the wealthy, successful, older guy. My mom was a supermodel. She was a beauty pageant queen, all of that. She was also very talented, an Ivy League graduate herself, but they were meant to have this cool little spiff. That's why I moved to Vegas, because they had a great life here in Vegas. They were meant to do that, and then they took it too far. Their personality types clashed too much. So I saw them fight a lot growing up. So for me, in a long-term relationship, I have a child, and I always plan to have kids, and I want more. I don't want my child to see that. So my basis for a relationship would be, as soon as I see one of those red flags that reflected my childhood and what I saw growing up, I got to cut it short.
Well, see, that's what, and one of the reasons I'm asking is because in Sadia's thing, she's saying why women want what they're used to. Is it because like you want to have like what your parents had? Like maybe you don't because of what happened.
Yeah,
with
it's the
your parents.
opposite for
But
me.
if you're so that was what you were used to.
There
but
were certain things I respected and loved about it.
But
though.
Vicky, you were used to two loving parents, and that's really what you're after now in a long-term relationship. That's what you're.
No, totally. Like.
But it's not happening. It's just that's what you want.
No,
doesn't mean you can have it. It just.
Yeah, no, I mean that would be my ideal, because like to see that, it's just beautiful, and you just want to. I don't know, just to have like the example, like when you're growing up and seeing your family together and just like be together no matter what. Like you have each other, like it's really, sorry, I'm emotional because
it's okay.
I miss my dad so much.
Okay.
Like it's really, really hard. I like it.
But that's what you're looking for.
He was the best man that like ever existed in my eyes, and like he was just so awesome. I'm sorry.
No,
okay. That's fine. That's
so how about this?
Totally
Could we say this? Maybe
Really
what
good
we
guy.
experience growing up maybe can cloud the lens with which we see what we're attracted to. Does that make sense? Because there cannot be a 100% correlation. There's no such thing. Otherwise, what you'd find is every single parent child would all have the same proclivities, and they don't. We find that it's not the parenting matters somewhere between 10 and 7% of a child's personality. So if that's the case, then I think what happens is the chaos. What the way it was explained to me, I can't remember which book I read about this, but parenting matters about 7% of someone's personality unless it's bad parenting.
Right.
If it's really bad, which includes not feeding them, physical abuse, verbal abuse, then parenting affects a larger percentage of the child's personality, and it can change the lens with which we see things. But the other part of it is genetic. I think it's a mix of those things. Did you want to get to? I want to do this. The one with Sterling.
With Sterling? Oh, let me see if I can.
Can we do that Sterling one? It is.
How many more do we have?
A lot. Well, yeah, we're kind of picking and pulling as we go. Got it.
It ends with 3YN. That's the. Oh wait, no, hold on. Let me see here.
Hard truth about being a man.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay, I think that might be it.
No, that's a Mangazi. Let me
It's
see.
the one
Here.
before that, isn't it?
Try it. Let me see here.
Reality of being man? Is that it?
This is a different one, but this one's funny. We should probably show this one. Yeah, let's go ahead.
This one?
Can we pull this one? Have you seen this?
Yeah, this is funny.
This is like funny, but not
Apologize
funny.
for being late. My wife just died. We've got a lot on the agenda today, so let's begin. Yes, Matthew?
Hey, I'm so sorry. I mean, your wife.
Yeah, well, as you might expect, the pain's unlike anything I've ever experienced before, but got a lot to do today, so let's keep moving, okay? Maura?
I'm so sorry to hear that, sir. Jamie was a really wonderful.
Yes, I can confirm that, but Maura actually made a pledge to the President and to the people of the United States to keep the nation informed as to the activities of its leader.
Do you need anyone to talk to or someone to help you with anything?
People, this subject is not on the agenda today. Believe me, there's nothing I'd like more than to drop down behind this podium and weep. But I can't do this. Why? Because I'm a grown man, I've got a job to do, and so do you.
It's funny, right?
Not real, is it?
Huh?
Is this real?
No.
No.
But here's the thing, though. Hold on.
That's
Hold on. Time out. Tristan asked this, is this real? Because this is kind of what it's like being a man. It's
plausible,
This is
for
the thing that ladies, because it's a plausible thing. There's this thing that ladies are like a lot of times. It's not just ladies. It's some people who, we have the ability and the luxury of like drinking mimosas and thinking about our feelings, watching our favorite TV show and going to therapy because there are men like that no matter how they feel, they have to go they have to walk their beat as a police officer, or they're willing to go storm Normandy Beach, or they're willing to stay up all night to make sure the construction is done for the bridge or the skyscraper or whatever is happening, or people who keep the lights and the electricity and the water running. Those people, when their wife dies, they still have to fucking go to work. I think it's hard to explain. One thing happened when my dad died. I was 29 years old. And I called Major Robinson, who was my flight commander, and I said, Major Robinson, I got a flight in 2 days, whatever. I'll still do the flight, and then I'm going to go home for the funeral. And he had to stop me, and he was like, because this is a regulation in the military, and he goes, Sartain, you're not going to fucking fly. Like, your dad just died. We're not going to let you fucking fly. It was crazy. He didn't say it like that, but it was one of these situations where it was like, in my mind, because I am around men who are like this, the idea of me missing a flight, and by the way, I deployed right after my dad's funeral to the Middle East. The idea of missing that because something bad happened. There's a great movie you guys should check out. It's called The Covenant. It's Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, and it stars Jake Gyllenhaal, and it's terrific because because the two main characters, one of them saves one of them's life, and the other one saves the other one's life, but there's no affection between the two of them at all. They never shake hands or come into physical contact hardly at all during the entire movie. And when you come to realize, like, we as men, we have this thing where we have to keep our promise and be accountable for our actions no matter how we fucking feel, which is why I think most therapy doesn't work for men, because therapy has to always keep in mind that I have to pay the bills, and it's like I'm having a hard time dealing with what my wife's doing, and I'm having some internal emotions, but someone's broken into my house and I don't feel like getting the shotgun. No.
That's what friends are for.
I always have to get the shotgun.
Friends with shotguns, yes.
I have a question.
That's what.
My question is, and I don't exactly know how to phrase it. So I've heard many men say that, they're more attracted to mothers. Do you think that, because as a mother, I feel the same way. Before I had a child, I didn't feel that way. I did whatever the fuck I wanted, when I wanted, how I wanted. But now I have a child, like, no matter what, I have to be, and she's getting older. She's almost 6. So she's recognizing and repeating behaviors and seeing, like, she can read the room with what mom's going through, what I've got going on. So I have to compartmentalize a lot of things no matter what. Ever since the day she was born, I have to get up. I feel like mothers have similar outlooks on life where you got to get up and get it done. Like, you have to. Yes. And you have to mask some of the emotions and things like that to protect your child and their emotions and their reaction. Do you feel like that could be possibly why some men are more attracted to mothers? Because there's a sense of responsibility there.
You're talking about single mothers? You're talking about attracted single mothers or women who are motherly? What are you talking about here?
I think,
or the mother fetish, because there's that too.
That's actually where I was going with this. That's where I was going with this.
I think mothers in general. I don't necessarily mean. I guess single mothers, because you're not going to date somebody that's.
No, are you talking about motherly characteriteristics or women who?
I mean,
have
legitimate,
children?
children. Yeah,
I haven't seen any data showing that men are more attracted to women who already have kids.
I don't know if that's like some big majority thing. It's just something I've heard often, and I'm like, oh, that's.
I could definitely see going out with a woman and seeing that she's good to her son and that being a positive. I don't know if it makes you more sexually attracted to her, but I definitely can see. Well, okay, this woman's probably not a psychopath. She's willing to do anything to protect her child. That's actually admirable.
I'm just wondering because the characteristics you say that I mean the thought process that men have.
Well, what I'm saying is
similar to.
There seems to be. Well, the point I'm just trying to make is there seems to be this pull for men to express themselves emotionally, to become more vulnerable, but to do it in the way that women do it, more like a feminine way. Yeah. And my point is, we don't even have this discussion except for the fact that a society was built with air conditioners, skyscrapers, fucking cars, dishwashers. This whole society was created by men who actually needed to repress their feelings so that the job would get done. What I'm saying is we're privileged by those men. The guy you just saw here, my wife just died, but I still have a job to do, and so do you. Those men are the reason why we have the privilege of even having the conversation that we're having right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think that also has to do with academia too, because like just being in psychology, it's mostly women.
Yeah.
And you kind of see that like most therapy is designed to treat women, and they don't. It's like offensive to say that you need to treat men and women differently because the treatment would be different. So you said this on a podcast, I think last week. It was like, like I'm fine with a therapist. She needs to understand though, like the bill needs to get paid, or like the kids need to be taken care of.
Men need strength coach.
For sure. It's like whatever you're doing for women, that's fine. But with men, you must always remember we have a burden of performance.
Right.
A lot of women have a burden of performance too. Like she said, as a mother, that burden of performance makes sure her child is taken care of.
For sure.
A woman who's a squadron commander, a woman who's a female pilot, they have a burden of performance. A lot of women don't have the same burden of performance as a man does, but all men have a burden of performance. Our value with regards to the opposite sex or with regards to people who want to work with us, work for us, or our respectability comes from our burden of performance because we don't have big boobies. Okay, so whereas some women have a burden of performance, all men have a burden of performance.
Mike, gynomastia was.
Yes, we don't have a.
But for you to have that, you'd have to acknowledge that men and women are different.
Correct.
And that is the problem.
And that's
offensive to a lot of people.
Well, I mean, that was like the basis of the discussion we had last week, which was like, oh, men need to go to therapy more.
Yeah,
we don't.
He's not talking about you guys, you ladies. Tristan's not talking about you guys. He's talking about the psychological, the academicians that are hyper liberal and woke.
I was gonna say, now look, if you're having like anxiety issues at home, like, and I think people overuse the word, I'm anxious, I have anxiety, right? But if you're really having like breakdowns and you're crying and something's going on, yes, go see a therapist.
Yes, but here's the reason why you have to go see a therapist, because your anxiety is breaking your performance.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So because you can't perform, for sure, I have friends that have suffered from PTSD. Those people do need to go to therapy. But the reason why they need to go to therapy is because they're broken living on the street because they could not meet their burden of performance.
Right. Yes.
The number of homeless men versus homeless women, it is huge, the number of homeless men versus homeless
That's
women.
why we have like athletic psychologists. Like, so if you're like, if somebody's in your head or whatever, you are like not in the right place mentally, and you can't like perform as far as, you know, your sports or athletics or whatever else that is. There's literally a branch of psychology for sports, for
sports psychologists.
Yeah. So like 90% of these men do not need therapy. Stop letting your girlfriend tell you you need a therapist.
Hear that, Jesse?
Okay. So to you guys, you know what you need instead of a therapist? You need a performance coach. Go watch Billions. You remember Bobby Axelrod had Wendy Rhodes in there, and Wendy Rhodes was not interested in like your psychological health. You needed to perform. You'd be shocked how good your mental energy will be and how much your brain will reward you when you kill the fucking meat and protect the fucking tribe. You will be shocked at how happy you are and how wonderful your life is, and also how many more women look at you and are attracted to you when you kill the fucking meat and you protect the fucking tribe. You will be shocked at how all of a sudden that's therapy. A guy is like, I'm lonely, but all of a sudden he has sex with a beautiful woman and he has a beautiful girlfriend. All of a sudden he didn't need therapy. He didn't need any fucking therapy, did he? He just had sex with beautiful women. He needs some intimacy. And all of a sudden, all that shit is gone.
Now his head's in the right
Isn't
space.
it weird how that worked? It's like objective reality changed. It got better for him because he accomplished a goal. And then all of a sudden, he doesn't need fucking therapy anymore. Isn't it weird how that works?
Something totally different and weird, but I heard that somewhere over in Europe, if you're like on disability, part of that disability check is allowed to be used for prostitutes.
Yes, that is. Hold on, what country is that?
That is
like
so
Denmark.
cool.
Is it Denmark?
Denmark.
It's one
of the Scandinavian countries.
What you're saying is absolutely true. Yes,
that's the coolest thing because yes,
that's the coolest thing. Shout out to Pahrump. Shout out to Pahrump.
Yeah.
Go get some puss, dude.
By the way,
we
we had a girl who was going to come on. We had a girl who was going to come on the show today. No lie, but she's stuck out in Pahrump at Mustang Ranch until next week. And she's going to come out here. Yes.
Oh, I would like to meet her.
Yes, I'll introduce you guys to her. Yeah.
I'm a whore.
Okay. Can we do?
Who said that?
Can we do? Can we do?
I have
Sterling.
I have Sterling set up. Are we good, Lana?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. There we go. I finally got him. All right, Sterling. Sterling Cooper, our good friend. Longtime friend.
That is kind of a harsh reality that nobody teaches young men, that it's like being a man is a 24/7. If you actually want to be a leader in your family, be a leader in your relationship, be a leader in your business, whatever it is. And I think a lot of guys look at a relationship as a like, oh, I put the work in to get a girlfriend, to get a wife. I'm done. Box ticked. Unfortunately, that's not the case. You don't just go to the gym for 6 months once in your life and then never go again, and it'll stay that way forever. But you do have to constantly work on all these aspects of your life: health, wealth, relationship.
There you go.
You guys, ladies, agree with that? I would imagine you all do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sterling's great. Sterling is a sage. Former porn star turned into men's health.
Introduce me to him?
Sage, yes.
100%. Look, Lindsay's like, I want to meet him.
He's cute.
And he's got that accent too. Look at that on you.
Oh yeah, I've tried. Never mind.
I'm sure he'd work with you.
You want to get on the ski? You want to get on the ski slopes with him? Yeah.
Yeah, we can go
skiing with him?
snowboarding.
You go snowboarding.
Well, I mean, again, it comes back to. I mean, I've been writing about this since like back in the early mid, 2000s. burden of performance. And I think I used to get a lot of shit for this back in the day because everybody kept saying, "Oh, you shouldn't call it burden of performance. It should be like the challenge of performance or the gift of performance."
The gift of performance.
Yeah, they're trying to like. Well, I mean, I understand because they want to spin it in some positive way.
Sure.
And I'll tell you, like right now, I listen to like people who are quote unquote red pill like content creators who use. I coined that phrase like back in 2007. And I have to tell you that, like, back then, people didn't want to accept it in the way that we, like, suddenly want to popularize it now. But back then, when I was saying it's a burden of performance, meaning the fact that if you want to be, and this comes back to not just necessarily meeting that burden of performance so that you can get a girlfriend, you can get laid, you can get a wife or whatever, have kids. It's not just that. It's also about your work. It's also about your physicality. It is what makes you respectable, and it also comes back to frame. So when we talk about money, muscles, and game, all of those are parts of the burden of performance. All of those three constitute what we call frame. It creates the world into which women want to be, want to come into, and men want to be associated with as well, because they want to work with you because you have integrity, you have respectability. So, and it also comes back to my two sort of gendered concepts when it comes to respect, love. There are gendered concepts where for one sex, respect means something, and for men it means something else. So when it comes to male respect, what makes you respectable is how well do you meet that burden of performance. It's not people used to think that I was using burden of performance as some way to sort of like browbeat beta male guys, like, oh, come on man, measure up, like being some sort of like coach kind of thing. It's not about that. It's like what makes you respectable. For women, respectability comes from like it's more common, it's more egalitarian. Everybody deserves respect. Everybody gets a participation trophy. We should all respect each other. No, for women, I'm sure that sounds really good as far as being collectivist and being egalitarian. It sounds like a good idea, but for men have to, because we're competitive. We always want to jockey for who's the sergeant and who's the corporal. And I'm going to ruin the chain of command here, but like whoever's at the top of the heap and who's ever at the bottom of the heap, and we do that like hierarchically through our workplace, through the military, through sports teams and stuff like that. There's a captain of the team and everything else. So really what the burden of performance means, or what Sterling was talking about right here, is it's something that is always constant. Only in death does duty end, right? I mean, you have to constantly be going and improving and growing.
Yes, I love it. Guys, read Gates of Fire. Listen to King Leonidas. He hated leaving his wife behind and knew full well that he was going to die, and she knew he was going to die, and he still did what he did for Sparta. If you guys understand that concept, this is what it's like to be a successful man. Again, many men choose
come back with your shield or come back on your shield.
Come back on your shield. So it's one of these, you guys have to understand, a successful man. There are going to be people out there that will tell you that what I'm saying isn't true. That's fine. Just notice that their followers and you are broke. Listen to me one more time. As a man, you always have a burden of performance. This is why most homeless people are men, not women. You always, when you don't have the burden of performance, this is why more people who take their own lives are men as opposed to women. As a man, you always have a burden of performance. No one is coming to save you. Now, often no one's coming to save women also, but there is this thing with women where it's like, if you're an attractive woman, there kind of is a dude or a line of dudes that are like, I would absolutely be willing to take care of you. Whereas for me, I don't have big boobies. No one is coming to fucking save me. And I have to recognize this, and everyone listening, all the men who are listening have to recognize this. And that understanding that is more important. Still go to therapy if you need it, but what I just said is more important than therapy.
See, I have a problem with the no one is coming to save you line, and everybody has been throwing this one out for a long time. Now, it's not that I disagree with that. I understand 100% agree. But I hate it when it is used as a fucking advertisement. So like what, and no hate on Justin Waller, but Justin Waller uses this quite a bit. Like the most liberating day of his life was when he realized no one was coming to save him. Great. Yeah. But then in the next sentence, it's like, oh, join the war room and all my buddies will save you. Like we're here for you. Don't worry, we're all together.
Can save you but
we're all a
us.
team. So where does individualism and no one's coming to save you end? And we're a team and we're all here to help you out, and we don't leave our people behind.
So here's the thing. I think what he may mean with the war room, I'm not in the war room, but what it may mean is like you were around a bunch of other men who also realize that no one's coming to save them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And in doing so now, because the problem is like
now
if you're in the war room, if you're in the war room or Men of Action or any other place where they, coach high performers, when you're in one of those situations, you're around other men who realize that, but like you're also in the minority. Most men do not perform at that level. Yeah. Most men, again, 17% of men in the United States make $100,000 a year. Only 17%. Okay, just so we're clear, all right? So these high performers,
more, right?
These high perform, huh?
The rest make more, right?
17.
That's the bottom 17.
Hilarious. Yes, the median income is $200,000 a year.
There's that one line in Suits when like Harvey Specter's like, most people operate here. I operate here. Yeah. Every time you say that, I think about that.
So just so you're clear, when he's talking about an advertisement, it's an advertisement for a community around other people who are accountable. And like for me, I think that's great. Just like there was an advertisement for me to join the military. A lot of people look at recruiting advertisement for the military as propaganda. And I was like, I get to be around a bunch of other people who are on time, who are accountable, who pay for their actions. Sign me up fucking today. That's the way it works. So, I mean, I think one way you could say is propaganda. Another way is like, hey, listen, this is what I knew what I was signing up for. Awesome.
Should we go to the next one?
Let me see. Do you? What's the next one you have up there?
Let's see.
So I have one.
I got
one that's like super simple. I just wonder if you want to see it.
Which one is it?
Actually, let's do
the
very last one. This is actually really important. The long distance relationships. Can you pull up long distance relationships?
Did you give it to me? Was that the one?
It's the very bottom one.
I love that.
Let's see. Hold on a second. I don't know. Did you give me that at the last minute?
No. This is going to be who's the author here? It's Roderick Edwards. Roderick Edwards. Do you see that one?
Can you show me? Which one do you think it is?
I don't see it. All right, so let's just do this one right here.
Which one?
Right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
let's do that.
That was really good too.
That's a different way. Okay, ready? Here we go, guys. Hold on to your dicks, everyone. Here we go.
Oh God, I remember this. I was actually going to use this for my show.
Yeah, let's do it.
Ladies, men are not complicated at all. I mean, at all. Men only want about 5 things. If you could provide those 5 things on a constant basis, that man will never leave. Number 1, a man wants gratitude. Number 2, loyalty. I want you to be for me. I want you to ride for me. I want you to always be on my side. I should never look at you and question whose side you on. Sex. Every man loves sex, man. Number 4, understanding. Understanding of the fact that I ain't gonna always get it right.
I accidentally fucked your sister. Understand,
I love
honey.
you enough to try to figure it out. All I ask is grace in that regard.
I'm sorry,
and
I
number
fucked her.
5, attention to detail. Men love attention, bro. It rubs us the wrong way when y'all attention is not on us, bro. Like, don't walk in the crib talking on the phone to your own girls. You ain't greeted your man yet. Like, wrap that call up before you walk in.
Okay, first off, if my team ever puts a clip of me to that goddamn music, I will fire you.
Yes.
That shit was crazy. Now, I agree with a lot of stuff he says. Now, first off, ladies, what do you guys think about what he said there? 5 things. 5 things, men are simple. What do you think?
Very simple. Sex, food, loyalty, understanding, companionship. Other than that, I'm going to take my phone call when I want to, sir. Yeah,
there we go. What do you think? What do you think, Lindsay?
I don't know. He kind of lost me, and I trailed off into my own mind.
Because the music? Because the music? There we go.
Whatever.
Michelle Martin, what do you think?
I don't know. I feel like, yeah, that could be true. Most guys, but I feel like sometimes at the end of the day, guys get bored too. So, like, sex might not be enough. Maybe you might
but it's not sex. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like,
but one of them was
okay. So
you can give a guy loyalty, and he'll be fucking terrified of it.
Yeah, but
you know
also
what I mean. You
it's
can
like,
give a guy,
he might not be loyal.
Okay, so he's expressing like you're in a relationship and you don't want it. Go back to the very beginning of the video. He goes, he'll never leave. So you guys are. We're already assuming we're in a relationship. So I'll just let you guys know when Kylie and I met. Kylie, I was very interested in her, but there was a possibility of us being together and a possibility of not being together. Both of those things were possibilities. And I told everybody I was around, I was like, I really like her, but if things work out, then they can work out. And if things don't work, I was open to both possibilities. At no point, just because she's pretty, was I like, 100% I'm going to make this work no matter what. Got it? As when I met her, she comes to my place. She cleans up my fucking place the first time she comes over, dude. She's incredible. Like, my cats love her. She's like every single characteristic.
That's what matters the most.
My cats love her. Every single characteristics of a long-term partner, she showed. Now, she does have a little bit of an anger issue, but like every other characteristic of a long-term partner, I immediately saw. So do you guys understand? I gave her the opportunity, and then she showed me those 5 things. Now, my 5 things are different. I have like 4 things, but what you're going to find is very few men have 10 things. We have like 3 to 5 things. If we just get those 3 to 5 things, sex and loyalty are almost always 2 of those 5 things. And if we get those things, then we're good. What you guys are saying, well, he may cheat anyway. Okay, he may cheat. He's not going to leave you though. I really do think if you did those things.
Men don't leave easily.
Yes. Okay. Like, good. I'm glad you're
I feel that too. I feel like they don't really leave.
The whole idea we're going to leave you for the secretary. No, well, fuck the secretary. We're not going to leave. We're not going to leave you for the secretary.
Men's relationship with sex is very different.
And then they'll lose effort and stuff, but they're not going to leave. You have to kind of be the one to leave.
One of the things that popped into my mind when I was watching that is that, like you said, men get bored. I think men like a constant chase too. Like I think that's why men love like bitches. Like they like mean girls. Like I don't know that they just like that shit sometimes. Not all the time. You don't need to be like this raging bitch that is so like
no, we just
their
like
opposition.
Crazy
No,
I agree with you, but I think we're in the dating / fucking area, and I'm still. I think what he's talking about is the long-term relationship area.
Yeah,
and
I could
just
see
like
that.
when I get to that point, and I was like, I'm very comfortable being in the same bed with this woman every day. I feel good about myself being with her on a regular basis, and she does things that make me feel happy. I think that's the point we're talking about. And how do we not end that relationship? And so I agree with the things the attention to detail. I don't really give a shit. Like I thought he was kind of reaching at the last. I thought he was good. Don't walk on the last. Like I don't care. I'm playing Madden. I don't give a fuck. You can still talk on the phone.
I need 5. So let me just
I've
take
been
one
in
up.
a lot of long-term relationships in like the first half of my life, and it didn't matter how traditional I was. At the end of the day, there still came a point where they all cheated on me in the end. You know what I mean? It didn't matter how open I was. It didn't matter if I gave them the world. It didn't matter if I let them be them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A certain amount of time passes.
I feel like,
and I think people get complacent and people can get bored or they want to prove to themselves that they still have it. Or
let me ask you: was there an attribute in these men who all cheated? How many men we're talking about? 3?
I mean, I've only really had 5 boyfriends.
Okay, 5 boyfriends.
Life,
and how many of them were talking about cheaters? How many? All of them? 5? Okay, so now I'm going to be your therapist here. I'm going to call Jamie Lynn in here. We're going to be a therapist. Okay, now you had 5 guys that cheated on you. Was there anything about these particular guys that was awesome in each one of these relationships? I think I know you're going to say like they were particularly handsome or particularly wealthy or particularly funny or particularly good in bed. Was there a trait about these gentlemen that stood out?
They all had the devil dick.
Okay, they were really good in bed. Okay, so now what I might ask you is a question. I think you might know where I'm going with this. Is you have a high sex drive, and you keep dating men who also have a high sex drive and are really good in bed, and then they cheat on you.
Well, you have to realize my first one took me in my youth as you know what I mean, and used it against me. Like you have to realize I was 16 when I got into my first relationship, and I was with him for 5 years, and he had a child. He was 32 years old. So like. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was loyal to him. I was my traditional Sicilian roots, doing the house cooking. I, reorganized his house. Like I did all these things. And then it got to the point 3.5 years in where he struggled paying his car payments. Well, I was cocktailing at a strip club then making bank. So then what do I do to help him out? I start paying his child support. I start paying his bills. He gets let go from his job. And then it turns, but it's yours.
Yeah.
So, and then at the end of it, he cheats on me.
Okay,
he gets married to somebody else.
He probably
on a
felt
business
less of a
trip.
man.
Okay, so let's talk about 2 different things. I think 2 different things here. Number one, I still agree with them that men are single, but what you're saying is men are single. Men are simple. I agree that men are simple. But even though they're simple, sometimes they do cheat. But my point is, men who have it going on in some kind of way, do you think they're more likely to cheat or less likely to cheat, Lindsay? What do you think?
I don't know.
You don't know.
No.
So if I were to show you,
I feel like you have to have the mentality to want to cheat.
Yeah, I don't think so at all. I think men just want variety, opportunity, variety. The other thing is Satoshi Kanazawa.
But then again, they also want someone to be only theirs, but they don't want
absolutely.
It's a
total double. It's a total double standard.
Right.
If you're saying it, here's the thing: it's a total double standard, and the men at the top they get that double standard. Yes. They'll get that double standard. They'll have a sugar baby who doesn't fuck anyone but them, and then they'll have multiple girls.
Every man wants a slut.
Yeah,
he just wants her to be his slut.
We're not saying it's good or bad, but my point is, Satoshi Kanazawa writes a book called The Intelligence Paradox. Recommend it to everyone. In the book, he says, as men have higher IQs, do you think they cheat more or less? What do you think?
Higher IQ.
It's kind of obvious. If they have higher IQs, do they cheat more or less? What do you think?
More.
They cheat more. They have higher standard of living. They make more money. They're more as they're more intelligent, as they climb the socioeconomic ladder, they're more likely to cheat. They are. It makes it sounds fucked up. It sounds sad, doesn't it? It does.
Because it's simple. Like, just don't get involved in a relationship.
Yes. So but hold on. That's what we're starting to see now. Is like, instead of these guys lying and cheating, you know what they're doing instead? Again, it's the difference between Tiger Woods and Derek Jeter. Tiger Woods cheated on his beautiful little white girlfriend, his white wife, and that made all these people angry that big old black Tiger Woods cheated on his white wife, and the people fucking hated this guy because you had your beautiful Elin was her first name, and you fucked a Denny's waitress. Are you kidding me? You're fucking Rachel Yucatel, like VIP host, and you have this beautiful wife. Derek Jeter, he fucks Jessica Biel and Jessica Alba and Mariah Carey, and no one gives a fuck because he wasn't married.
But it just depends on the person too. So for instance, my last boyfriend, we were together for 4 years. I know why he cheated, and for him it was a fetish. It was a game for him. He liked to see if he could get caught. You know what I mean? And that was.
But
do
you think he still loved you even though he liked to get caught?
He definitely loved me, and he still
that's very enlightened of you
to this day.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like he supports me, and he'll sign into my OnlyFans and things like that. But like,
I'm a little confused by that last sentence. But okay.
Very supportive. He's supportive now. He's like, yeah, I fucked up. Here's my penance.
So just going back to what you said, like, I think
he's like, here's the tip.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. If you don't want to stay with him because he cheated, we understand that. But the thing is, like, you did at least understand that a man would cheat and still be in love with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. Some women are confused by that. It's absolutely
well, you're talking
true.
to the girl who believes sex is sex.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sex is sex.
I don't believe in monogamy.
You can decontextualize
like
sex.
my first half of my life, I spent living monogamously.
But you understand most women. Hold on, most women cannot decontextualize sex. Thank God, by the way. We'd all have AIDS.
Told, but
yeah, we'd all be living in caves if women could decontextualize sex the way men do. Women have a comfort and seduction process. Men do not have that.
So I think men are far more complex than most women will give them credit for, simply because it's the sex thing. Like, oh, well, all you got to do is just spread your legs, and guys they're very simple, But I think that sort of masks really more of a are all guys like complex? No, but like I think for the guys who are a bit more like hard to figure out, like women love a challenge, right? I mean, they want a guy who's like, doesn't give it all up. He doesn't barf his life story out on the first date on a restaurant table. They want to be able to sort of like say, is this guy the real deal? They want that intrigue. That's why shows like The Bachelor are still in their 28th season right now, because women want to try to figure that guy out. If it's all just right there up in front on the table, then yeah, guys are very simple. But a show like The Bachelor doesn't exist because guys are stupid simple. It's because they want to keep trying to figure out that, is there more to this guy? Is he really who he says he is?
Do we want to let Mackin appear one more time on our show?
Geez, here we go. Yeah, I'm all about this one. Let's do this one. Here we go. The best one.
You think Ryan fucking Gosling is average?
I do. I think he's average. Now,
Ryan Gosling is average. We're all complete. We may as well just stop dating.
Okay.
That's basically my thesis statement. We have so much in common. Women love to say that they're too good for movie stars, even though they're not. Why are they doing that? Let's look closer. What does it mean to be average? If you think average means half above and half below, I hope you don't have an important job. Imagine there's 1,000 people with $1 and one person with $1 million. The average is $1,000, with 1,000 people below and only one above. That's how women perceive men. A few men are so attractive, and many men are so unattractive that Ryan Gosling would be this pathetic little character. So nearly all men can be less attractive than Ryan Gosling, and Ryan Gosling can still be average, if that's how she feels. But it's not. How do we know? Because most men are less attractive than Ryan Gosling, and yet many men are in relationships with women. That would mean one of two things. Either virtually zero women are attracted to their husbands and boyfriends, or they are pretending to believe that movie stars are not good enough for them. Why would they do that? Validation. I'm working on a video about delusions that the different kinds of people have. I'm working on 1,000 videos. I promise Self-Maximize is coming. And one of the more common delusions from about here down is to pretend that attractive people are not good enough for you to make yourself appear more attractive. I've heard people say, for example, that Margot Robbie is mid. This came up with Safe Search on moderate. And since men rate women pretty fairly, that would mean half the women in the world are more attractive. I've been to LA, it's not that good. One rule that's worked out great for me is don't listen to what people say, watch what they do. So when people say things like this,
walk down the street.
For me, he would be average.
Don't take it seriously. Instead, check on who they're dating so we can avoid these feelings.
You think Ryan fucking Gosling is
I
average?
do. I think he's.
I can tell we're going to be great friends.
Okay, one more time. So now, here, every time we play this video, there's always a girl who says, Ryan Gosling is average. That's not the point.
me.
That's you. That's not, but Kylie did the same thing. The point is, you aren't understanding the English word average. You don't know what that word means. Now, if you want to say he's average to you, that's fine. But to say he's average, mean that he's average to women in general. Can we pull up a picture of Ryan Gosling without a shirt on?
Oh,
real quick?
yes.
Okay. And what I want you to do.
Yes.
I wouldn't think he's average.
Don't
to women
look,
in
Tristan.
general. He'd be way good looking.
Okay, cool.
too.
So any
More
of you ladies here think Ryan Gosling is an average looking man? Anybody here? You think he's out? Hold on, Lucy.
Yeah.
You think he's average? Okay, cool. So because I want to show you something here real quick.
Okay. We're talking about looks, though. We're not talking about everything else. Okay, sure.
This guy's Canadian. What the hell?
He's also not my type at all. So
No,
it's
it's
not
fine.
really
It's fine.
fair.
It's fine that he's not your type. But hold on.
That's why he said.
There you go.
There we go.
Versus average.
I got
I'm
it.
like,
Okay,
versus
so that's Ryan.
average
That's
is
Ryan
what
Gosling. You see that right there? Now, what you're saying when we say average, do you understand? Average means that we would take the median of all men's attractiveness divided by all the men that
Like the
exist.
majority of women
And
would
you're
be like,
saying
yeah, he's
that the majority of women on the planet would find him at the 50th percentile, not even the 50th percentile.
I think it was the,
I get what
I think it
you're
was the
saying.
Barbie movie.
Yeah.
that
Do you
ruined
understand
him.
how outrageously ridiculous that is?
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan Gosling is not an. Again, I don't find him attractive. I'm a heterosexual man, but when I look at him, it's very clear to me that he is in the. If we were to stratify men on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Hot or Not, whatever, he is going to be in the top 1% of the top 1% of men. So to call him average is just a cope that women are using to make themselves feel better. That is absurd. Or they don't know what the word average means. They think the word average, like again, Margot Robbie's not mid. By definition, she's not mid. If we were to stratify 100 million women and say where does Margot Robbie fit on the attractiveness scale of 100 million women, she's going to be in the top 1%, at least in the top 25%, which again would make her not mid. These words have meanings, which is why it's so crazy when women say shit like this. But again,
I've also seen it the other way too, where like guys like they'll bring a hot girl down because they couldn't get that girl.
Yes.
So they'll be like, there's clearly a girl who's a 10 out of 10.
She's not that bad,
but
bro.
she's like,
she's not
she's
fine
a
like that.
She's all right. She's all right.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. So men and women both do this. So that it's a thing where
She wears too much makeup.
In order to get validation, you tell people that someone, again, that girl, whoever she was, the podcaster, had no fucking chance with Ryan Gosling. None. She could beg and plead. She wouldn't even get nothing. And for her to say she's average, in her mind, what's she doing? She's playing this little game internally. I'm better than him, which is, of course, nonsense. And so men do the same thing. They do it on the show. We've had 3 Miss Nevadas on this show, and the guys on the chat call them ran through hose.
I'd also like to point out that Ryan Gosling is married to Eva Mendes, and I use this quite often. Eva Mendes was very famously said that she didn't want to have children. She was not motherly, didn't have that motherly instinct. Until she met Ryan Gosling. Now, all of a sudden, she wants to have babies. Not just have babies, his babies.
His babies,
Literally
yep.
said, I didn't want to have kids, but I want to have his babies. And consequently, they have children together because she wanted to have his babies. He's hot enough and is, attractive enough to get Eva Mendes to change her mind about motherhood because he is that hot and she wanted to have his kids.
So fellas, again, listen, Homath with much more wisdom. Again, he's totally correct about this. Women are saying this, and men are too. They're saying that someone who is very attractive is not attractive because it makes them feel better. Now, that's fine if you want to say that they're not attractive to you. But when you start using mathematical words like average, those words have meaning. If a woman were to say, I believe that Ryan Gosling equals the median attractiveness of men, that is a non-factual statement. That's not an opinion.
Let me ask you this. Do you think are we splitting hairs here? Are we being just semantic about like what's average and what's not? Like if you were to ask women to say, do you think, maybe we should ask, do you think Ryan Gosling is more attractive than most guys?
Yes, that's it. That's what you say.
Yeah.
Like perhaps instead of saying average and starting like fixating on this,
my answer would
right.
we got to be.
But that's okay. Just not to get super nerdy.
Yeah.
What you asked was, is Ryan Gosling above the median guy? That's what you're asking. Not is he? But we say because we don't know what those mode median mean. What we say is he's average.
Because you could ask that same girl like, oh, do you find Ryan Gosling attractive? She'll say, no, I don't think he's all that.
And you're all allowed to
crazy.
say, like, I don't think Naomi Campbell's attractive, and I know women think he's absolutely crazy. Great. But if you were to ask me, is Ryan
her body?
Is Naomi Campbell attractive in general if we were to stratify women? Of course she is. She definitely is. She's just not attractive to me. That's different. But I'm not solipsistic enough to make this about me. We're asking if he's average in general.
I want to go around the table.
Who said Margot Robbie was mid?
There's a bunch of young.
Who the hell said that?
There's a bunch of
The fact
young.
that they use the term mid tells you who said it.
Yeah, it's younger people. It's like the new generation. By the way, we watched the Barbie movie, and you know what? We trashed the movie. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Ryan Gosling was fucking awesome in that movie. I thought he was fucking hilarious in that movie, and I thought Margot Robbie is a terrific actor. And I thought, who was it? Who was the guy? Who was the CEO of Mattel or whatever's it called? Hasbro? Who was the? Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
I thought he was great. I thought he was great. Other than that, the movie was nothing but fucking propaganda. It was just nothing but fucking propaganda. I laughed a couple times. It was a really good production value.
Seen it.
Yeah, but I'm terrified the idea of letting children see that movie. That's really scary.
I got a question for the ladies.
Don't.
Yeah, you're all victims.
Remember,
ladies, you're all victims.
Definitely not a good
Is there such a thing? Okay, like for guys, when we talk about a butterface, you know what a butterface is,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing as a butterface for like women? Like, is it for a guy? Like, is there a guy that you like find really attractive in the face, but he's like fat, or he's just like not your like physically he's unattractive, or is there the other way around? Is he like have a really killer body?
Absolutely.
Maybe this is more common, a really great body, but like you're just
Killer
like,
body, awful face.
Now, which one is the deal killer? The face not being par with the body, or the body not being par with the face?
Face for me. I can't look you in your face.
I need to. I'm big on teeth also.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said I'm big on teeth also. Like some people, if they have the rabbit teeth, I'm like, oh.
or like teeth and hands.
Or like
for me.
if their teeth are like spaced apart, or they like have like yellow. They're just.
See, that's a bit, okay. There's a reason I'm asking this, but let's go around.
Wait,
is there what's more of a deal killer for you? A guy with like
they have to have a
meh
good
face, but he's got a great body, or he's like
they have to be hot. Come on, my answer is always they got.
Well, yeah, I mean,
in the face,
you're gonna
or the
want
body?
the balance, but like if it's one or the other.
In the face, you
Starts
gotta
in the
think when
face?
you're on top and you're riding them and you're staring into their eyes, like you gotta be into their face.
Right.
Felt that.
So his body
What do
could be.
What do you think, Alex?
Subpar.
Face.
Okay.
The body doesn't.
It's got to have a good symmetrical face.
Yeah, because we can always work on your body as long as you.
Like, what's a hot face to you? Is it like a guy with a jawline? Is it like...
I like a good
look like
strong...
Seth Rogen?
I do like a good, strong jawline. Don't get me wrong. That's definitely a real manly feature. Maybe a more broader forehead, right? Like more protruding out forehead, bone line.
Neanderthals. You love
I think
Man.
maybe
I like them
maybe the idea would be hunter's eyes. Like right here, like right here at the brow, it juts out because the eye is sunk further back in the face. Women, their eyes sit bigger in their head compared to men.
Yeah, I do find that attractive, but also like good skin just kind of tells that you take care of yourself, right? That goes along with a good face. Yeah, but that shows that you like probably eat well, right? If you eat like shit, you're probably not gonna have good skin.
Vicky, what do you think?
Unless you're brown.
Unless
Miss
that
Wolf.
melanin does something.
Vicious. I'm just calling you Vicky. Go. What do you think? What do you think?
You eat like shit.
Face, body, or is there? What's the deal breaker for you?
I mean, I like to have a good-looking face for sure, but obviously, I mean, honestly, from like, I need broad shoulders.
Shoulder. So
Like,
we've
I
got
want that,
listen,
like,
guys.
broad
We've already had
shoulders
women
to,
say
like,
hunter's
feel-
eyes and broad shoulders. Interesting.
And then like the
Looks
eyebrows
maxing.
are really good too.
Heavy eyebrows, or is there like a happy medium?
I mean, just like I don't know, just be like masculine.
I like body hair.
Yeah.
Masculine.
Body hair,
eyebrows.
really?
I like body hair.
Really?
I don't want like a
I
full
hate
carpet
it.
back kind of body hair, but like let me run my
Yes,
fingernails through the
exactly.
hair.
Like
on
body
your
hair.
scalp.
So you like
And like
the face
Or let me,
Allie is
when I'm
making right
rubbing
now.
your calf, let me feel that you're a man and it's not shaved. And
Yeah.
mine is
My
not
So you want to run your
Don't
hands?
shave.
You want to run your hands through his back hair and then like pick out pick out the lice. You want to pick the lice out of his back hair, and then eat the lice.
Like a lice comb with your hand. Yeah, just
I mean, I can be a
collect them in a tray.
Wait, hold on. Michelle, body hair or not?
Well, I mean, I've dated a guy where he had his like leg tattooed. I don't like it when the guy's legs are more shaped than my legs.
That's what I was just saying. Yeah.
But what about chest?
I'm not really big on like no, I don't really like the back hair. I don't really like the chest hair. Maybe a little goatee, but even like face, I don't like it where it's like 16-year-old looking face. But I also don't like it where it's like that no shave November or whatever, or like where it's like really
lumberjack.
Yeah, with a mustache or anything like that.
I can be attracted
I get like
to the
my skin
lumberjack.
sensitive. I don't really like
Lumbersexual over here.
Yeah, I keep looking at this guy on the cover of the book, and I'd be like, "Yeah, that profile's a hot profile."
Yeah, even like to run my hands through like that beard is nice. You know,
I like facial hair. A nice tug.
That is a nice beard.
Tomorrow about 8, hit me up.
That's why I love long hair.
I gotta. You're gonna see my buddy over there.
Yes. I like facial hair, but it's not like a must-have. I like when you were talking about face versus body. I'm a face person, for sure. Smile is the number one thing. If like, I don't think I've dated a guy that doesn't have like a full mouth of crowns or veneers, which is like, which is fucked up because I don't even have that. But it's just not a desire for me. But yeah, that's something. But body hair, if I have to love you. If I love you, then that's a different. Like one guy did it, I absolutely adore still to this day, and he has like chest hair, and I just pretend it's not there. But if it was like Wolverine, like get the fuck away from me. Like I'm so grossed out and cringing. Like my skin was crawling when y'all were like loving it. But if you like it, I love it. But
so let me ask you a question. So they've surveyed men about this, about what's more important to them, a woman's face or a woman's body. And then they asked the question, when it's short-term dating, is face or body more important? And when it's long-term dating, is face and body more important? What do you think men say?
I think short-term's body and long-term's face.
Anybody else?
That'd be my say.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you
Short-term and long-term is body.
What do you guys think?
Spoiler alert.
Long-term face, short-term body.
What do you think, Tyler?
Damn. I would say long-term body, short-term face.
Body.
What? Really?
Really? Opposite. Yes.
Yeah. No, it is short-term body.
Really?
And long-term. Yeah. So men will, like, they want the girl who has like the stripper physique or looks like a porn star for short-term sex.
Oh wait, I said that backwards.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I meant. I got confused.
Long-term, they want the more natural look. The girls next door with like a prettier face. That's what long-term. That's what men would choose. Yeah, it's interesting.
Long-term body, short-term body.
Listen, I am long-term body, short-term body, 100%. Absolutely. I am fucked up for living here.
Welcome to Vegas. Is there another one we wanted to get to?
We should have done, Mike. We should have done FitX Fearless for the next one. For the next
reaction. Definitely do the next one. Hold on, let me see here.
I got another side.
I thought we were going to talk about Crazy Tail, Cat Williams.
Oh, did you find a Cat Williams one?
No. Not from what you were talking about.
Oh, how he doesn't want to go to strip clubs because he'll take a girl out of there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He goes whenever
today could be your last day.
It could be your last day.
I mean, there was a lot. He talked about the dress thing. He talked about all kind of stuff.
Long distance relationships, if you can find that one.
I thought you were going to ease into it when you were talking about the Machine Gun Kelly with the dress, because Kat was preaching about the dresses.
Let me do this.
Not gonna lie, that happens more often than you think inside the strip clubs. Like,
what does?
Like where men are like, I can take you out of here, and they damn well mean it.
That is like 100 times a day happens.
Yeah, they mean it.
Yeah,
they're like, come home with me, and I'm like, I live here.
One of the most famous lines is, "You're too good to be here. I'd love to take you out." Like that's everybody's heard that. Yeah.
Here comes the DID. The DID.
Let me put my Save-A-Ho cape on.
Save-A-Ho cape.
All right, Lana, let's do this one.
Long distance relationships, they are not for the weak. Thankfully, we're in a time where you can call, text, and FaceTime as much as you like, but you quickly realize how much you miss someone when they're not physically present. The intriguing thing to me, though, is now you're really challenged to prove your love. And when times get hard, you can't allow space to become the demise in your relationship. So it's important to continue to provide reassurance as needed and find new ways to normalize being in a healthy long distance relationship.
Nonsense.
Hold on, ready?
No.
Ladies, what do you think? What do you think about long distance? What do you think about long distance?
I fucking love long distance relationships.
Yeah, why do you
They're
love
my
them? What?
favorite.
Hold on, no, of course. Hold on, I'll explain why. Go ahead.
They're my absolute
Stop the
favorite.
cap.
So I've been in so many long distance relationships. They're my absolute favorite because one, it gives you a reason to miss somebody. And then when you spend the time together, you actually enjoy the moments and you prioritize it, you know, to where like you don't get complacent in your everyday routine. You know, you go out of your
Sounds
way
very
to
healthy.
enjoy it.
Hold on. By the way,
you're gonna have sex with
Right.
when
And
you're
you have to think too, if you have a busy lifestyle, you don't have 24 hours
Lindsay,
a day
just
to
out of
devote to
curiosity, in
kids.
any of these long distance relationships, were you having sex with someone else in the meantime between visits?
I've been in a monogamous one that lasted for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So no, he lived in Australia and I lived in South Carolina.
Got it.
Did you behave yourself the entire time?
100%. Listen, I'm one of the most loyal bitches you'll ever meet on the planet if that's what I choose to be. You know, I've been single over 7 years now, and I am choosing to no longer live that kind of lifestyle. That's by choice. You know, and
because you couldn't hang with the long distance relationship.
No, not at all. I love them. So now I have multiple people, you know, that are long distance that I'll see, you know, maybe once every couple months or something. But each time we meet up,
just rotate
like
through.
Our time is, well, you got to think I have people in my life that have been in my life since 18 years
For sure.
old.
For
you
sure.
know, that's a long ass time. So
Yeah.
if somebody's in your life that long, like they're going to be in your life forever. They're for lifers now.
Michelle,
you know,
what do you think about long distance relationships?
I don't know. I've had, before I moved out here 6 years ago, I was in one.
Yes, that's why I was asking you. I remember the
I was
story.
dating the guy for like 6 months, moved out here. We made it work for 5 years, but...
Really? What were some of the problems?
Hold on. It was on and off. I dated some other guys.
Let me ask you a question. You know several girls who are in bottle service that are married. Several of them that have moved here without their husband.
Yes.
What happens 100% of the time when they move here without their husband?
Well, I mean, I don't know. There's like a lot of temptation, like not only like on our part, like a lot of guys that come in, they spend bottles, like they do save a hoe kind of thing. Like they like, oh, like if you like just go out to dinner, I'll pay you kind of for atmosphere kind of thing. You go sometimes because you're like, you want that extra 500, like all innocent. But then also like, I feel like in a way the guys kind of get more like, kind of like insecure and they feel like, oh, okay, like you're meeting all these guys, these rich guys, and they get in their head, they like kind of self-sabotage themselves, I feel like, in a way.
Yeah, I can't imagine why they'd be insecure about that. That's crazy. Lucy.
No, but I feel like they cheat. Like, I don't know.
Lucy, do you think long-distance relationships work?
For me personally, I can't see it being something I could do for a long time. Maybe if it was, we had like a regular schedule to see each other once a week or something. I do believe distance makes the heart grow fonder, and I'm a big believer in people having, I think in a relationship, you need to have your two separate identities.
She can live in Summerlin and he can live in Henderson. That's long distance enough.
I don't want to see someone every single day. I don't actually desire at this point in my life to ever live with a partner again, or at least not in a regular sized house. Maybe it'd have to be big separate rooms for certain reasons, whatever, just to have that distance. But yeah, I can't see myself doing super long distance or permanently. I think I'd have to have something a little bit closer, but I'm never say never type of person.
Vicious.
So. Yeah. That would never be a thing for me. Like, I want my person there with me, and I just want to do life with them.
That's my girl.
That's like what I want. I
got
want them
one
to be
vote.
my best friend, and I want us to do everything together. So like that's
beautiful.
I mean, if you're gonna commit yourself, like commit yourself to the fullest. Do it with passion, 100%, or not at all.
I do love seeing my partner every day if that's what we both have the time to do. But also, if your job calls for you to be in a totally different state or on the other side of the country, then okay, we can make that work too.
Sure.
Right? But
by the way, I'm excluding we are married and have kids and live in the same house together. You have to make that work. That's different.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about everything else before that.
Now, do I think that long distance relationships can work? Yes. Do I prefer them? No. But it, like she said, it's really Electric Barbie here. She has said that it does. It's really nice when you guys finally do get together, right? And it's like kindled, and you're like,
Yes.
oh, I missed you so much.
All right, so this video is about normalizing healthy long-distance relationships. Healthy long-distance relationships is like more accurate astrology. It doesn't fucking exist.
I want to die after the end.
Listen,
Astrology
guys.
is more real than that.
Listen to me,
Come on.
guys. Listen to me, guys. Not only do long-distance relationships not work, they're not even real. You guys don't understand. Let me explain to you how men and women receive their validation. Women receive their validation through attention, and men get their validation through sex. And so now we're in a long distance relationship and we're doing the 3.5 hour FaceTime calls. Who's getting their validation and who isn't getting their validation?
Women get it.
And I've seen this numerous times.
Is where being a sex phone operator comes in handy.
So I've seen this numerous times, and so have you guys. Women who will come to Las Vegas, they'll be in a relationship, they'll be in like a long distance relationship or whatever, and they don't consider it cheating because they're thinking about their ex. They'll end up hooking up with some other dude because in the interim, this idea that women are just waiting around for you is fucking nonsense. And they will rationalize that they're not cheating on you when they're hooking up with other people. No, men get their validation through sex. Women get their validation through attention. And so a long distance relationship, a woman still gets 100% of their validation and the man gets it, doesn't get any. And that is part of the reason why this absolutely does not work. 75% of the men, when they came back from World War II, had to find new fucking wives because their wives had babies with other people or they had divorced them. Long distance relationships do not work.
Long distance relationships are worse than being in the friend zone. Worse because
What's
it's
the point?
Exactly.
It's just painful.
Now,
and like what?
If you want to define one subject, one topic that would like make Rollo Tomassi absolutely insane, this would be like, oh, let's normalize long distance relationships because I have written so fucking extensively about this from book number 1, actually even before book number 1. Long distance relationships are like having an invisible fucking friend that's with you at the club, that's with you where you're doing, what's with you right at this fucking table right now. Oh, I've got a girlfriend, she's back in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
you know, like that's like, oh, I better call her now, little lady. Oh, it looks like the time difference. You know, it's 2 hours ahead over there, right? It's like the thing is, it's like you're obsessing over. Like I said, having an invisible friend that's with you all the time. That's like, but they're not there. That's not really about that. It's you. I mean, it's for guys. Now I'm not talking about well, maybe girls too, but like most guys would like to think that they've got something else going for them, and that because I'm loved, I'm lovable because there's some girl that's in Oklahoma and I happen to be in Vegas that wants to be with me. And it's like it's to the point of psychosis where guys will be like. Sorry, I can't go to that. Why, bro? Why can't you come out and have drinks with the boys? Why can't you? Let's go shoot pool. Let's go. Hey, it's Vegas.
It's
whatever.
not like your girlfriend's waiting at home.
Yeah, exactly. So what happens is, but they gatekeep for themselves, right? They self-police themselves because they go, well, I wouldn't want to cheat on her because I know she's not cheating on me. Bullshit. She's cheating on you at university.
The normalization of long-distance relationships is the reason why men are paying for the girlfriend experience on OnlyFans.
Exactly.
Okay? Because we have normalized this, there are millions of men, maybe not millions, but a lot of men. Well, maybe it is millions.
A girlfriend experience.
We'll go into that in a second.
I can tell you all about that.
Okay. So the reason why, like, go ahead. There's.
Oh yeah. So earlier today, I had a guy text me, and he wanted to know what I was doing, and I told him I was just sitting at home, minding my own business, watching a movie.
What are you wearing?
He wanted to know what I was wearing. So I showed him, and then I slowly unzipped my onesie pajamas to show him that I had nothing on underneath. And then
put your left hand under the table. Yeah, keep going.
He said, "Wow, that's so hot." And I said, "Oh yeah, is it turning you on? Show me more." And so he did. And then once he saw that, I got turned on. And my nipples started to get hard. And as they got hard.
Demonetized. All right, beautiful. So the girlfriend supposed
to pay you now.
The girlfriend experience, vicious. The girlfriend experience is basically like instead of hardcore guy-girl porn, it's the whole like what would it be like if you were going back and forth with your girlfriend. My point is because we have normalized this, men are getting married on World of Warcraft to women they have never fucking met. Men are
what women are on World of Warcraft?
I was an undead rogue.
Yeah,
nice.
Because of this, men are talking about their girlfriends that they've never actually met in person. Because we've normalized this, that's why men are paying for women on OnlyFans. If you're paying for porn because you're horny, I guess I kind of see it. But if you're paying for companionship on fucking OnlyFans for a girl, and you're not getting intimacy, you're riding back and forth with a 5'4" Filipino guy that's the account manager. Right. That's what's going on. Yeah. So like that's my point. The very
fact this thing, and you get me.
This thing only exists. This whole concept only exists because we are normalizing this nonsense of long-distance relationships. You can like a girl and even date a girl that's far away, but you are charged. She belongs to the streets until she moves into the same fucking area code that you live in. That's the way you need to look at it. When you are living in the same city and you are having like regular sexual intercourse, then you can possibly say that is your girlfriend. Anything before that, you are fucking coded.
I got a question. I got a question. Okay, so Lindsay, you were in a long distance relationship for how long?
I've had a couple of them for a couple of years.
For a couple? Anybody else had a long distance relationship? You did. Really? Oh, how long?
Like 5 years on and off.
5 years, and you were like totally like you didn't fool around.
No, she was on and off. That's what on and off. That's what on and off means, bro.
All right. And did anybody else? Anybody else have one? Okay. Who initiated it? Was it him that said, "Hey, I think we should be in a relationship, but I'm going to be gone," or was it you that said, "Oh, I really like this guy so much that I want to be in a long distance relationship with him"?
Honestly, I think it was probably them wanting to tie me down. So, but the funny thing is, like the first guy that I was in a long distance relationship, I was living in South Carolina and I was out playing in the World Series of Poker out in Vegas. And he was from Australia and we played on the same table together. And after that night of playing on the table, like it all spiraled from there, you know, and then every 3-4 months, you know, one of us was either flying to Australia or flying to America to make it work. Like at that time period, my phone bills were $1,000 a month. Wow. Crazy in my early 20s.
But he was the one who said, "Hey, I want to be in a relationship with you." Sorry, I live in Australia.
I can't remember. Honestly, it was so long ago. And then the other guy, when I first moved to Vegas about 10 years ago, he was a lawyer out in LA, and I met him at a strip club out here, and it was like the most fun, hilarious night. And we connected, but you know, I'm doing my thing here, he's doing his lawyering over there. But it was an easy transit, you know, to where sometimes I would take the Greyhound and, you know, go out.
So you were still saying occasionally, but like, I mean, as far as like who initiated it though? Do you remember?
I can't remember. I might be able to send him a text and figure
Who initiated your
Let me send him a text right now.
With mine, I was living in California before I moved out here. So we were dating for like 6 months, both like in California together. And then I decided to move out here. And then he would come out on weekends sometimes.
But did he want the relationship? Or why didn't you just break up?
Because he was like obsessed with me. I don't know.
Okay, so he wanted it.
I was only supposed to be here for 6 months, but 6 years later, I'm still.
So I'm of the opinion that it is mostly guys who want to initiate the long-term relation or long-distance relationship because they're like, I will never get as hot a bitch as this girl right now, and if this is what I got to do, then this is what I got to do, and I want to lock her down, even if it means that I got to do it like from another fucking country.
I just sent a text. I'm gonna hopefully hope he responds.
Do you think that? Do you think it is mostly guys who are initiating long distance relationships?
Not only is it mostly guys who do that.
Self-defeating.
It's almost always women who want to open a relationship later on in the relationship. Like they want to like bring people in and become swingers. It's women who want that. It's like no, of course. I totally agree. And I'll tell you one other thing. I'll bet you it's mostly women who break up at the end of the long distance relationship when it turns out to not work out. And the reason why is because she caught feelings or had sex with someone else.
How did it end?
Which one? The one from Australia.
The monogamous one.
They were all monogamous. Any relationship I've ever had has been monogamous. So the one from Australia, he officially picked up and moved to live with me in my house in South Carolina. And then about a week and a half into living with me, we were like, this is not it. So,
wow,
yeah.
that's
so then that was
crazy.
So the fantasy was better than the reality.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
I've heard that you need to live with you should live with your partner before you get married for like a certain amount of years.
I agree 1,000,000%.
Yeah,
it takes 9 months, in my opinion, of living with somebody to really see their true colors. And then once you see their true colors, you can really decide from there if you're capable of living further on. Because it takes 9 months.
It's different when you're seeing like someone when they're set up to see you, like on FaceTime, like, oh, you look this way or you do this, and then like you're seeing them like wake up and like scratch their ass in the morning and like
smell their farts in the next day.
And then you're like, all right, maybe
I'm sorry, baby.
And then with the other one,
they get too comfortable.
It's been a year and she hadn't killed any of my cats, so we're doing all right.
That's how you know a woman loves you. If like you can fart around her and she's like, or she can fart around you. Most women won't fart around a guy. Guys will fart around a girl, but women will not fart around a guy unless they're in love with the guy.
Yeah, that's
true.
Super true.
Yeah, I think so.
Most guys will be like,
but
who broke up? You or him?
Well, I mean, he was staying at my house and he like had sex with an escort and then flew a girl out and had sex with her the next day.
So
yeah, well,
a lot of reindeer games going on there.
So wait. So after 5 years of being long distance,
but we weren't really like sexual like for the last couple of years, anyways. But I mean, still, it was kind of like you can't wait till you get home.
So you starve the beast, basically starve the beast, and he'll break up. I can't break up with him. I don't want to be the bad guy. I'm just gonna starve him.
I mean, there was a lot of other layers to it, but.
But is that not how it happened? Did you do it on purpose
so
he would move out?
I left him for someone else. I started dating someone else. He just never left. He
Yeah.
stayed.
So the dude she kept trying to break up. She's told me the story before. She kept trying to break up, and he just wouldn't accept it.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't.
And like my car broke, so then I
hint.
borrowed his car, and then he was like, "Well, you have to be with me." Like, I mean, I don't know. But then I bought the car from him, so there's no ties to it. It's just a lot,
He was very
every
clingy.
single relationship.
Oh, that's how relationships end with you, Lucy?
I've had 4 restraining orders on 4 different people. It always, I'm like, I feel comfort that's.
Yeah, there's a tattoo on her wrist that says voodoo clam. I'm guessing. Restraining order vagina. That's what it's called.
No, I never.
ROV, restraining order vagina.
It's sad that I'm happy to hear something similar. Like,
Beautiful. Awesome. Hey, let me read some super chats here real quick. Marriage causes divorce. What do you think of psychological attachment styles? Secure, avoidant, anxious. Does anyone know there are psychological attachment styles? I don't know how much science is behind this. Is this it kind of feels like 5 love languages type of hokum, but I'm not really sure about it.
It's pretty backed up.
It's pretty backed up? Okay, so different type of attachment styles? Okay, cool. I don't know anything about it.
So I don't know.
I'm attached to equal
maybe I have
energy
different
exchange.
information, but like attachment styles is like
sounds like
late 70s, or like mid 80s. It was a big deal. Like, and then it kind of fell off for a while, and then like people. The thing is about like certain like psychological trends. It'll be a big deal for a little while. And it's like, here's how you raise your children. You need an assertive style of raising your and then it'll like just disappear. And then it'll resurface like 10 years later because like what's old is new kind of thing. And it's like those are like Maslow's like hierarchy of needs. Like that was like back in like the late 60s, early 70s. But it'll just get reheated like when people think it's like it sounds like it's something new and fresh.
They've done a lot of psychological studies proving that like it is very much backed up. It's almost as backed up as like the Big Five, and we know that's like one of the most constant things it's like.
So what are some? So what are some of these examples?
There's
secure, avoidant, anxious.
Secure, attached, and avoidant.
There's really two. There's clingy motherfuckers, and then there's normal people.
There's insecure avoidant, secure avoidant, secure attached, and insecure attached, right?
Yeah. Like, look, every relationship I've been in, I'm like, if you want to leave, you can leave, but I'm really happy to try to make you happy. That's it. Like, I'm never going to try to keep anybody there, and that's probably because that's what I learned from my parents. I don't know.
I'm pretty similar, but I attribute that to growing up with so many men. I think that's like more common with men.
Yeah, you have 5 brothers though.
5 big brothers, yeah.
You're the youngest?
I'm the youngest. And they're much older. So it's like I damn near had a bunch of dads.
I wouldn't want to date you because they like probably beat your ass.
They're all huge, too. My youngest brother is 8 years, and then we're each 8 years apart. I don't know what kind of shit my dad had going on, but every 8 years, he made a baby.
Wow.
So they're much older. Like 3 of them.
After it.
Yeah, 2 or 3 of them were older than my mom.
Here's another one. Do women who sleep with their partners on the first date have some sort of psychological issue, like anxious attachment style? No.
I just want to know if you're good in bed.
Yeah,
why would I wait?
I don't think
why
that's
would I
the
fall
case.
in love with you and then be like, this dick sucks? I'm not doing that.
See that right there is like why I hate Jordan Peterson so fucking much. Because it's like for these guys, exactly. Because
sorry, we have this debate all the time.
Yeah, because it's like no, women like to fuck. Can they just like to fuck? Is that okay? Like alpha fucks, beta bucks. Like it doesn't have to be some cosmic, the universe like opened up and the angels sang and the light shined down kind of thing.
Just be horny.
I wouldn't want to have meaningless sex. I'm like, women like to fuck.
Man,
they do just like you.
It's
they
hard
like to
find a really good lay, right? So if I find one really good lay, I might just keep coming back to that. Like, I'm gonna knock on your door every once in a while. Like, hey, I kind of need something.
Yeah,
Can I borrow a cup of sugar?
Have you met my 2 single sales associates right here at Men of Action Mentoring? Have you met both of them?
Doors?
They both have doors.
We have. I actually cooked them dinner the other night.
You cooked them dinner?
She did.
She did.
I did.
So you went to knock on that door. Got it.
What did you cook? What did you cook them?
Short ribs, I think it was.
In the air fryer, and it was actually really good.
Incredible.
How are you not
Air
married?
fryers are magical.
Yeah.
I love it.
You know what? We didn't want to. We were in the high rise, right? Didn't want to stink it up, and freshly moved in, not a whole lot of pot and pans. So yeah, we utilized and learned how to use an air fryer.
You did your big one, sis. You did that.
I
learned
how to use it.
We ate some bomb ass
See, guys,
ribs,
you
is
have,
what
you
we
have,
did.
you have
Yeah.
female friends, and they come cook shit for you. Like I said, man.
Wow.
MoeMentoring.com.
Wow.
Door's always open.
You have a bright
women that
future
love
as a
to cook,
trad
love
wife.
to feel, or have a guy they can feel
awesome
safe
when the
around
man
just to
cooks
cook
for
for.
you, too.
Wait.
I said, but I'm like a sucker for a man that cooks for me because my dad was a cook and like he would always cook for my mom. So like when my guy cooks for me, it's just like I love it.
Is it like you're in love with him because he does that, or is it just like something you feel like special because it's happening?
Well, no, it's just like I mean it's special, but like also like and it's like also like when you're like together doing it because like he could be doing something and then you can like hug him and
Parties
like,
in
get
the
up
kitchen
on
are the
him
best parties.
and then it can turn into something else.
Naked tequila shots.
Parties in the kitchen.
I like the way you think.
My kitchen parties are the best parties.
So the reason
let
why
me
I'm
tell
saying
you.
that is
I
because
believe you.
Let me know.
I want to come.
Let me tell you. And then on top of it, I'm a huge, so I keep them all in the kitchen where they belong.
and the guys can answer this too. When you
Let's
make
go.
food for somebody, I'm not saying you guys have, but it's an act of love. Is what it is. Creating food, like making food, is
I'm
an act of
Southern
love.
and Sicilian. That's like religion to us.
Well, it is, but think about it from a psychological level.
Same.
Like if
Yeah.
you're feeding someone, you're interested in keeping them alive, right? You're like, here, have some food. Here, we'll share my food with you.
Exactly.
It goes back to like hunter gatherers, where everyone would share the meat, right? I mean, it's the same thing. I'm interested in keeping you alive. Also, and guys, if you have, maybe Kylie does this, and when you're driving, like say you're driving from Las Vegas to LA for like Babes in Toyland or something.
Blowjobs.
That's an act of love too, but that's not where I was going.
That makes me feel as good as a dude cooking for you.
You should have at least one per hour.
All right, thank you, sex worker. Okay, does Kylie feed you food when you're driving?
Yes, but she also feeds me food.
Besides crumble cookies,
she feeds me food when I'm playing Madden too.
Okay, but does she feed you? Does she feed you one at a time food,
Yes.
like McNuggets or some shit?
Yeah,
like
sometimes
nuggies or
she'll
something
do that,
like
yeah.
that. Okay, because I have this theory. This is like some stupid. Like this is a Rollo. This is a stupid theory, but I think that if women feed you in any capacity, especially when like I'll be driving along, and my wife will give me food, right? Because I'm driving. She wants me to stay on the road. Don't kill us. But we'll be standing at a standstill at a red light or something, and she's still feeding me food.
Does it mean more to you?
I'm going, I love you. Because that's to me, that's like I just want to. It's like the act of actually feeding someone is an act of love.
Beautiful. Malachite says long distance relationships are like crypto. That's funny. And then Malachite says if you can't smell them within 24 hours, it's a long distance relationship. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, you're invisible.
Okay, guys,
friends.
just understand. This is going to sound really bad, and I don't mean this to sound bad, but like when you start dating someone, they're all for the streets. They just are. This is the healthy way to look at it. They're just like they need to prove that they need to come up from off the streets and they want to come into the house. In the beginning, they have the ability to do that. When you're in a relationship, you want to have a girl that's just kind of casual and she's long distance, that's fine. When I told Kylie what I needed in a relationship, she picked her shit up from Houston and moved to Las Vegas. That's the way it works. If she didn't want to do that, then it was just going to be casual. That's the way it should work. But this idea that we're in a committed monogamous relationship where she's out there bartending and I'm hanging out on the strip in Las Vegas is fucking nonsense. And you guys should know better. That's it.
By the way, Kylie's the fucking GOAT.
Yeah?
Shout out to Kylie.
Yeah.
I love what she did with your apartment.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I love that.
She organized my PS5 controllers. It was really great.
Everything.
That's romance.
Like you go inside and it smells like candles and it's all clean. It's always clean.
A woman's touch.
Oh yeah, she's great. You winner.
Yes. And
Really?
I bought her a $1,400 Roomba.
And also really nice hair.
Yeah?
Nice. I liked her hair
lots
the
of
other day.
things.
Yeah.
It looked really nice.
Beautiful.
I got Sadia here. These are some ones I put.
Okay, beautiful. Let's do it. Can we pull it? Yeah, we go.
Let me break it to you boys. The average 23-year-old girl has slept with more men than the average 53-year-old woman. Let that sink in. We're living in a time, and I know this because I used to be a teacher for many years, and I couldn't believe the sexual promiscuity amongst 14, 13, 12-year-old girls, because here's what they had. They had access to Snapchat. They could send nudes of themselves to older boys or whatever it is from the age of 11, 12, nudes or whatever it is. Well, it's technically child pornography. They would start so young. And they're living in an era where there's no negativity attached to sleeping around. It's seen as liberating. So by the time a girl is 23 years old, I promise you she's slept with more men than a 53-year-old woman. Because a 53-year-old woman grew up in a time where she was shamed for sleeping around. There was no sexual liberation. There was a sanctity attached to sexuality. A 22-year-old grew up in a time where Snapchat, twerking, wearing promiscuous clothes, going out, being on social media was all normalized. So if you think that, I'm going to be with a 21-year-old, she's going to have low body count. Guys, what world do you live in? What world do you live in?
Okay, question. Why is it when I say exactly the same fucking thing, I get put on the Department of Homeland Security's most wanted list?
Because you're a man, Rollo.
Why is it that when I say the same thing, I end up on an NGO's watchdog list, but when the pretty girl with the dark black hair says it, everybody... Oh yeah, that's what I want to. But do you guys agree with this?
Yeah,
100%.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, my grandma would always say, "Who would get the cow if they get the milk for free?" And I feel like back then, yes, it's like more traditional. You save yourself for marriage, but now with the OnlyFans and like just everything out there is, I feel like it's more like. It's more I mean, just everyone, like you said, you have to have sex the first night to see it out because you don't want to get connected and then like the dick sucks or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. But
I think it's more Instagram than OnlyFans. I don't know a lot of girls that are meeting their partner
OnlyFans, like Snapchat, like everyone.
Snapchat for
but
sure,
like I'm talking about
because it disappeared.
But when I say OnlyFans, I mean like with the nude photos and like just more promiscuous than how it was back then.
Yeah, I think access has a lot more to do with it these days because Instagram in particular too, because it doesn't even have to be nudes. It could just be like showing off your ass on
I feel
Instagram.
like Instagram's really easy access, but like it's more promiscuous than how it was back then.
So here's two things: the number of women somewhere on the hypergamy scale that had access to sending messages to higher status men increased, and those men, their appetite for having sex with those girls is never satiated, so that's why this whole thing is happening. Does that make sense? That's why it's like the guy who's banging a lot of chicks, his roster is infinite. He doesn't have a 53-man roster. He doesn't have to make cuts. He just goes on forever if he wants to. Like Drake doesn't say, "Well, I've fucked enough women this year." It doesn't work like that, right?
So, question. Okay, for example, say you don't have like OnlyFans, for example, but you sell content on Snapchat to people exclusively that ask for you, but you like don't publicly advertise, and your partner has a problem with that.
Okay.
But he is also someone that would go on OnlyFans. What would you call that?
Probably a hypocrite to a little bit. Yeah, for sure. But that's not quite what we're talking about. But I totally understand. I understand what you're saying.
She's looking for clarification.
Yeah. So again,
asking for a friend.
We can make it even simpler. We can make it even simpler. I met you at the strip club. I pulled you out of the strip club, like Cat Williams said. This might be your last night. You may never have to work here again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Girl fucking with me may change her whole life. So with Cat Williams, so you pull the girl out of the strip club, and then you get mad that she goes to the strip club, right? Just that's one of the situations. In my situation. My girlfriend met me at bikini competition, and then she's upset that I host bikini competition. Sorry, like this kind of like what happens, right? So it's that type of situation. You're saying it's hypocritical if a man has a problem with you being on OnlyFans, and at the same time he's checking on OnlyFans. I think that's like that's too foul.
If you don't even have OnlyFans,
yeah, but you're still selling media of yourself to men.
Sex work.
Advertising.
Right, but you're not. Like,
it doesn't matter. Like if he's on OF and you're on Snapchat selling shit, it's the same thing.
You're not looking at another guy. He's looking at you, and you don't even care about the guy. You're just like,
so ladies, I think ladies might not understand this. I've heard women say this. They'll go and film with another dude on OnlyFans besides their boyfriend, and then tell their boyfriend it's okay because I didn't enjoy it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Like
hold on.
Totally
that's crazy.
It doesn't matter. Hold on.
Acting.
And the same thing here. You send the video to the dude, and you're like, "It's okay because I didn't enjoy it." It's not okay because it's not okay because he enjoyed it. Do you understand? The problem that we have is like the problem that we have is like when women say,
I feel like just stop making less of intercourse. Like seriously, it is what it is. Sex is pleasurable. Period. Period.
Yeah, but men can still have.
I used to date a gay porn star, and he used to tell me how he did not enjoy fucking other men. But you know,
I don't think he was gay then.
But that's my whole point. Like you say you don't enjoy fucking other men, but yet you do it. Like he says,
I don't know how we got here.
You know,
okay.
what I mean?
I'm very We're now getting banned off of YouTube.
Yes, yeah. On my channel, thank you very much.
I forgot what we were talking about.
No, I was going to say as far as like happening younger, and we always talk about like body count all the time, and people make a real big deal of body count. Like for instance, when I talk about body count, I always talk about it in clinical terms, right? I would say the reason why men are obsessed about body count is because they want to determine whether or not that woman is a good bet for his own paternity, because if a woman is asleep around, they don't know that the baby coming out of that woman is necessarily going to be his kids. That's that from an evolutionary perspective, from a hindbrain, lizard brain, limbic level. That's really the basis of it. But what we don't really talk about is similar to what you're saying before. Is like women are the advertisers and men are the pitchmen. So like the reason why a guy would get jealous or would have a problem with you, doing OnlyFans is because you're still advertising your sexuality when he can't go and pitch anymore because you guys are in a monogamous relationship, closed on your end, closed on his end, or ostensibly anyways. But we live in a time of Snapchat. We live in the time of Instagram. We live in a time where that access for that sexuality, or for women to make a living off of just advertising themselves, not necessarily fucking, but like just advertising that they might be sexually available. Because what happens is when you show your boyfriend for the first time on Instagram, women lose market share. They lose followers because the idea or the fantasy that woman might actually still be available flies out the window the minute that you show a picture of your boyfriend on Instagram with you as well. And they go, oh, fuck, why am I following this bitch for? I'll never have her.
This is another like big dichotomy between men and women. Dr. Buss talks about this a little bit about if you were to ask a man what's worse, if she has a mental or emotional affair with someone and doesn't have sex, or she has sex with someone with no emotion, and then they ask women the same thing. And for women, overwhelmingly, the emotional affair is worse, and for men, overwhelmingly, the sex is worse. For if you were to tell a woman, you were like, hey, I went out and I met this woman, and we had an incredible time, spent the whole weekend together, and I think I love her, and we had sex and all this kind of stuff. That would be far more hurtful to her than if you said, listen, I was drunk, I think I did some blow, I was in a bathroom, and I think some girl sucked my dick. Like that, there's two different things. I think some girl sucked my dick.
I think.
But if you were to do the opposite for women, and a woman would say like, yeah, I started to have strong feelings for my ex versus I just fucked some guy in a bathroom. Remember, I'm your boyfriend, which means I had to work for it, which means the guy who fucked you in the bathroom didn't, which means your value is lower to me, because that's the thing. Women do not grasp this. It's like, it's not that you're making us wait for sex. It's the idea that you're making us wait for sex, but you didn't make the other guy wait. And as insecure as you may think that is key to like maleness. That is key to masculinity. This is idea you're going to make other dudes wait, but not me. No, Drake gets the superstar treatment, and the girl's like, no, but I didn't want to be with him, and he's Drake. That is not a fucking excuse. Okay,
I went on this other pod. I'll shout out to MOA. This other podcast I went on, there was this girl who said, because she was in a relationship, she said, if he didn't make me orgasm, it doesn't count.
That's nice.
So it's not cheating.
That's wild.
If he didn't get off, it didn't happen.
If she didn't get off, it doesn't count.
There would be a lot of virgins in this world.
We're coming up on time, but I wanted to do one quick more round. Do you agree with what she says? Do you think that like a girl who is 23 years old has like what did she? How much did she say? They had like tons.
She didn't say a number.
She just said more than 53.
I don't agree
because everybody will, like, especially people who are really anti-red pill, they'll fight you on this. They'll say, "Oh, those guys just exaggerate so much about how women's body count, or they think that women are way more promiscuous than they actually are." And here you have pretty little Sadia what's her fuck, saying, "Oh, exactly the opposite of this." And that a 23-year-old woman has like a much like.
Well, I think she did two extremes though. So
order of magnitude.
I agree with her that like
23
and 23 and 53, 100%. But 23 and like 33, I don't know. I think 33 has more.
No. Yeah, I agree.
I agree with that
100%.
Yeah.
But do you think that
53 is a different generation?
That's our point.
The point.
But the answer is before IG and after IG. That would be the difference.
I would say so too.
Yeah. That would be.
Do you think that women are having sex earlier?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. There's proof in the pudding with that, because I forgot the correlation, so forgive me for that, but girls are hitting puberty earlier. And
when did you lose your virginity?
I was 14.
14. When did you lose your virginity?
It was my end of senior year, so like 16.
16.
4 days after my 15th birthday.
I'm sorry, Mom.
No,
freshman year.
Sorry, I was 17.
Freshman year.
Freshman year, so 9th grade.
14.
Jesus Christ,
14 or 15.
Vicky. Well, when did you lose your virginity? What age?
15.
15?
I was 17.
Bro, I was 19, almost 20.
Fucked up.
I was 14. You think anybody wanted to fuck me when I was 14? That is fucking crazy. I'll show you some pictures, bro.
I had a friend's kid at 9 years old inform me of what a rainbow party was, and this was when I was in my 20s, and I was like, what the fuck? A rainbow party. That's what I'm saying. So I know kids are doing it earlier. Oh, yeah.
What's a rainbow party?
So when they have a party at the house, you know what I mean, or when the kids come over, all the different girls wore a different color lipstick, and then whatever guy was the prize, they added to the rainbow.
Right.
You get it?
At 9 years old?
At 9 years old. Yeah. When I was in my 20s.
Wow.
And so, like,
I don't
you know,
even wanna
like
comment
in my
Tristan, when did you lose
in
your virginity?
my generation,
20?
like 15,
You said
14,
19,
15,
bro.
we were in the band room.
19. Shout out to White Rock Lake.
So,
Tyler, when did you lose your virginity?
14.
14, really?
Oh my God.
17 here, but like.
I think
usually guys lose their virginity
boys.
much later than women do, just in general. Now, I'm Gen X.
You were how old?
14.
14.
Yeah.
So, but you said 20. You were 19. I was 17. But which
I
guess still 3 years later.
Fuck me when I was 14.
It was my
hilarious.
eighth grade girlfriend.
Nobody was going to, bro. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Such statistic. And so I think one of the things is I think a lot of people there's a lot of people who want to clutch their pearls and say, oh my gosh, women aren't really that promiscuous. I'm like, every single girl at this table had sex before they reached the age of consent. I'm just saying. Yeah. So. Anyways, okay, I think we're at time.
I think we're good. Hey, guys, so a couple things. Number one, ladies, any ladies who are watching this, if you want to come on to a future show, please hit me up. If you are interested in coming to the FHM/Babes in Toyland charity, February 8th at the Sahara, the FHM Super Bowl party, please let me know. If you guys are interested in coming to the Maxim Super Bowl party on February 10th, please let me know. We're going to be doing that. We're going to try to do February 7th, do Access Vegas. So all the girls who fly in for Babes in Toyland, they do Access Vegas, and then we go do the show. Next week, because AVN starts next week, we have a bunch of girls coming on.
Industry night.
It's going to be Industry night. So we're going to be on here, and we're going to just be talking about Jesus the whole time while we have nothing but porn stars on.
Nothing but porn stars
talking about Jesus. So you guys should be excited.
Every girl, and I was trying to get Sterling to come. He can't make it. But if we can find at least one guy who was in the industry, we'll try to get
for sure.
I can probably help you out with that.
Yeah. Domo's on top of her game too, man. She wants to help us too. So, which is great because the only time we have ever had to cancel a show was AVN
because all the girls had to work. All the girls had to work.
They would not leave the expo because they were making too much money.
Right now, I know Sarah Jesse's probably coming. Katana Montana is coming.
Domo will be here.
Yeah, Domo will be here. I'm gonna ask Nicolette Shea. I'm gonna ask a bunch of other girls like that if they want to come on next Thursday. So that should be exciting. Then we will have a couple weeks. We'll have a week off, and then we're gonna do the 7th. But we're gonna try to do it the day before Babes in Toyland. That is tentative. If we do that, and man, that's pretty much
that's where we're going. I got super chats real quick here. Kel Reeves says, "Hey Rollo, great work you do, and the Player's Handbook is great. For the ladies, is there any healthy relationship with a guy that ended that you still think about? Do you view the reason for it ending differently today?"
Yes.
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 Yes and yes.
Well, hold on. Yes. But you want him back? You do want him back?
Do you want him back?
I can't say that I want him back because he's already married.
Yeah.
The next girl that he dated.
Yeah.
But if he were more mature now, like how he is now.
Yeah.
Then.
So you somewhat regret it?
No, not for what he was in that moment.
Okay. What about you?
Yes.
You regret it?
No, I don't regret it. I don't regret
this
anything.
This is exactly one of my points. Keep going. You don't regret it. It's fine.
But I would totally get back with him now. We still talk to this day.
Yeah.
I want none of my exes back.
Got it. Lucy?
I had one seemingly healthy relationship that I ended. It goes down to the needs thing, except my needs were both of the needs that men and women need. They weren't being met, so that was it. I wouldn't get back with him. I was too bored.
Probably the same reason.
Did he get the restraining order too?
He is the only one that hasn't, actually.
There you go.
Stopped talking on my birthday, and that was it.
Did he have depression?
Go ahead, Vic.
They're an ex for a reason, right?
So this is my point, guys. Women will cheat on you. They will. Guys have this fucking weird idea that they're going to get revenge. Women will cheat on you. They will fucking leave you, and they will never regret it. They will never. Their mind will never allow them to regret it. So what you do is you go level up. You worry about bench press max. You worry about more money in the bank account. You worry about how many books you read. You worry about leveling
Start
up.
acting different.
You are never sit there and be like, she's going to regret that she broke up with me. They never fucking regret it. I have never seen them regret it, bro. You just get over it, move on. Just move on to the next one. You take your credit card out, right this, where everybody do this on YouTube, and you charge it to the game. That's what you do. And then you're fucking done.
Chalk it up to the game.
I got one more here. Philip Smith says, when are we going to get Andrew Wilson and Michael Sartain to debate on evolution? I would be happy to moderate that one.
Okay, so I would do that. The problem is I got to study so much to do that, and I've seen the evolution.
You're just going to devolve into
the evolution versus because I like Andrew Wilson, obviously.
I do too.
The thing is the evolution versus non-evolution. We're going to be arguing things where it's like, well, I believe in evolution because of X, and he's like, well, I don't believe in X, and then I was like, well, I believe in the creation because of X, and I'm like, well, there's no evidence for X. That's just going to devolve into that. The only thing with Andrew is I don't think we'd get into name calling.
Yeah,
exactly. It wouldn't be like the flat earthers. I understand why he doesn't believe in evolution because like there are gaps as far as like physical evidence, but there's not much. And the other thing, like here, ready? You guys want your proof for evolution? Do you have more or less close relatedness when it comes to genetics with your brother versus your great-great-great-grandmother? What do you think? More or less? If I were to look at the gene of you and your twin brother versus you and somebody who's like 5 generations away, would I see more genetic relatedness or less? Come on, guys. Don't be fucking stupid.
More.
The
I've seen more close family.
Yeah, the answer is obviously more.
I think my mom more than my siblings.
You and your mom share about on average 50% alleles.
Yeah.
Or no, you and your mom share exactly 50% alleles, and you and your siblings share on average about 50% alleles. Okay, so closer relatedness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if I were to look at all these different species, what I should find is things that are closer to relatedness should be on the similar branch of the evolutionary tree, and you find that with mammals, especially with chimpanzees that have 98.5% the same genetics as humans. It's not an accident that a fucking chimpanzee and a fucking human have 98.5% the same genetics.
Can I just say something?
I have a 99.
One more thing. You have 50% relatedness to a banana. Yeah, you do.
So that's actually true.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. So you have 50% relatedness to a banana, because we all come from one evolutionary tree that evolves down. That when you go backwards through time, comes to one single cell organism that existed probably around 2.83 billion years ago. There's no way to argue. There's no reason why you would have an elephant and a hippopotamus share something like 80-90% genetic code. There's just no reason for that to happen.
I
other
can
than
think
we
of
are
one.
related. What?
Aliens deposited the genetic
but here's the thing. Okay, so shout out to Prometheus.
Ancient aliens.
Shout out to Prometheus.
Going with it.
No, even with that, they would still be natural selection.
A molecule. That's all I'm saying.
Well, but even proto-molecule is natural selection. It's natural selection. Anyway,
all right.
You had the one freak in the bunch that, made it with the other, and there you go. Started a trend.
All right. And with that, you can take us out.
Oh, yeah, baby. You ready to go out? Or are you ready to come back in? Because we'll be back next time for the next best thing you've ever had.
Thank you very much. We will see you guys next week.
Remember, guys, everybody, stop what you're doing and respect women.
Yes.
Just respect the shit out of them all the time, everywhere you go. Respect women. Shout out to the blue pill. Let's do it.